Then Berard will send it in. Gauthier. To McCammon looking for Zhamnov. He ran into some traffic trouble. Now McCammon has it once more. And it's cleared to the center ice area. Robida tried to dump it in, it deflects. Back comes Donovan in over the line. He cuts to the net, shoots. Put it up off the glass. We're going to have a penalty coming up here against Chicago. So the Flames now will head to their first power play chance of the game in a 1-1 game. This is Chicago Blackhawk hockey.
I said, Joe, think of the family. It's comfortable.
It's not too big, not too small. It's got a DVD. End of discussion.
I said, Liz, we need a man's SUV. I mean, this thing tows like a son of a gun, and it's got a Hemi. Done deal.
The all-new Durango. Big size, smooth ride, Hemi power.
And Joe completely understood.
Liz finally saw it my way. Soda?
The all-new Dodge Durango, starting under $26,600.
Circuit City's the place for DirecTV. Stop by today and get up to 3 rooms free, including installation and a $75 Circuit City gift card after mail-in rebate when you activate any Total Choice programming package. And right now at Circuit City, make the most of DirecTV entertainment when you upgrade any receiver to a DirecTV DVR for just $99.99. Circuit City, we're with you.
Extended and improved. Now Max Madsen and Mitsubishi bring you the best warranty in the industry on new 04s. Plus, loyalty continues to pay for Mitsubishi owners and their household members. Our biggest cashback ever, or 0% financing and cashback. Plus, all qualified buyers get cashback or 0%. And everyone gets Chicagoland's greatest Mitsubishi deal. Extended and improved. So wake up and drive to any one of Max Madsen's 3 Mitsubishi locations.
The hooking penalty to Stefan Robida has the Flames on their first power play chance of the night. Calgary 4 of their last 18, so they've scored 4 goals their last 4 games. And here's the draw, cleared back into the Calgary zone. Hawks have given up just 3 of the last 33 while they've been shorthanded. Now the Flames. Saprikin on left wing. As Neiman lost his stick, puck comes to him along the boards. He wants to cover it up, he can't. Now he's able to get the lumber back. At the line, it's held by Lidman. He goes across, here's a long shot, tip. That hit Aitken and deflected wide. In behind Saprikin. Brings it to the far point, Ferentz. To the corner, Conroy. He centered one, but Iginla couldn't pull the trigger. Jerome Iginla to Craig Conroy back of the net. Conroy for Lidman, he scores! Lidman snuck in. It took so long to develop, but Lidman stayed there. He snuck in for the point. Conroy couldn't get it to him when he wanted. He mishandled it. But then when he got control again, a good pass by Conroy, and it's 2-1.
You're absolutely right, Pat. Craig Conroy tried to make the initial pass as he went behind Steve Passmore, and he fumbled the pass. He fanned on it. And everybody from the Blackhawk kind of bid on it. And Billy Neiman and Nathan Dempsey both were going down into the corner to go after Craig Conroy. And Littman, all he did is slip into that little soft zone just inside the circle. And he buried his 4th goal of the season, only his 2nd goal in the last 28 games.
Now it's cleared into the Calgary zone. Donovan picked it up. Able to send it back into Chicago ice. Robida gave it to Berard. Then Calder on left wing. Got it to Zhamnov and he overskates it. But carried on by Berard for Ruutu over the line. Ruutu trying to get away from a check, instead ran right into Robin Regeer. And the Flames will dump one in. Burke Henry to Zhamnov. He was checked at center. And now the Flames, Gauthier. Cleared it back into Chicago territory. Passmore shooting it himself out to center. 2.5 left. Now a mishandle by the Flames. Montador lost it to McLean. He cuts in, tried to center, came back to him. In behind a Sullivan. Here's a wraparound. What a save by Turek. And he's able to hang on to it.
Right after the whistle, Kenneth Gauthier hammered Mark Bell to the ice inside the crease. Mark Bell not very happy. Got up and said a few choice words. But Montador, a giveaway that Brett McLean pounced on and got an opportunity to get a shot away, but it never got through. Steve Sullivan picked up the rebound and tried to wrap around the room, and Turek stuck his left pad on the post and held it there. Mark Bell trying to pick off anything loose was dumped by Gauthier in the crease.
Now off the draw. Goes into the far corner. Thornton wrestling with Clark along the boards. Then Montador put it off the glass and out. Jason Strudwick clears it ahead. Didn't get out of there as Arneson had it taken away by Reinprecht. Back behind the goal goes Clark. Arneson got there to steal it back, and he sends Dempsey to center. His pass deflects, and then Dempsey just unloaded on Kobasu, who was cutting to the middle of the ice, and Dempsey flattened him. And it's into the Calgary zone. Arneson had it, then lost it to Lidman, and it's cleared to center, where Iginla dumped it in. Comes to the near side. Conroy goes to the deep slot. Here's a long shot by Ferentz. Pad save. Passmore. Rebound. Came back. Hit him in the arm. Laid in behind to Iginla. Jerome Iginla looking for a little help. Finds Saprikin. His shot is blocked. And then as Aitken was trying to clear it, his stick broke. Puck came loose along the boards. Thornton able to jam it back to center ice. We go to the final minute of the first period now. And the Flames get as far as center, but Dempsey broke it up ahead for Ruutu. He cuts in there, shoots. Turek the save. Rebound right to the slot, but the Flames able to clear it out of harm's way. And Saprikin shot it to center ice. It's kicked loose, and Calder unable to find the handle. And back to the neutral zone it goes to Dempsey. Dempsey fires it in there. Zhamnov in the far corner, put it around the boards. Dempsey tried to center it, hit a skate to Lombardi, and he shot it back the other way. The race is on for icing. Chalmers got there to save the call, but he did so as the period came to an end. So the Blackhawks, as it happened last night, able to strike early. They scored a goal off a Turek giveaway 57 seconds in. Tuomo Ruutu able to put the Blackhawks out in front. But then 7 minutes in, Jerome Iginla finished a great pass from Conroy to tie it. And on a power play opportunity, the Flames made good. Lidman's goal is the difference. At the end of one, it's Calgary 2 and Chicago 1. This is Chicago Blackhawk hockey.
Remember your dreams? Maybe you dreamed of winning the big race. Or maybe you dreamed of rocking the world, whether the world was ready or not. Or maybe you dreamed of stretching the limits of our imagination. Whatever your dreams, Sylvania lights the way with long-lasting, energy-efficient light bulbs. Sylvania, see the world in a new light.
More people are winning with the Hyundai Santa Fe. It's loaded with standard features for $4,400 less than a Toyota Highlander when comparably equipped. Now available with four-wheel drive with traction control and a more powerful 3.5-liter engine. And only Hyundai has America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. The 2004 Hyundai Santa Fe starting at just $18,084 with utility package. With Hyundai, you win. Get a 2004 Santa Fe with $1,000 cash back at your local Hyundai dealer.
fans, join Tyler Arneson, Mark Bell, Kyle Calder, along with assistant coach Al McAdam at the Miller Lite Pucks and Pasta Dinner, Tuesday, February 17th at Maggiano's Little Italy in downtown Chicago. Enjoy a question and answer session, a 3-course Italian family-style feast, and participate in the raffle and silent auction. Tickets are $60 and $40 for all kids 12 and under. All proceeds benefit Chicago Blackhawk charities. For reservations, call Maggiano's at 312-644-7700. The Pucks and Pasta Dinner, presented by Miller Lite, February 17th.
It's the 17th annual Fox Sportsnet Sports Awards benefiting the March of Dimes. Chicago's premier players will gather for one special night. Scheduled to appear, Jocelyn Tebow, Marty Booker, Esteban Loaiza, Joe Borowski, Jesse March, and Jamal Crawford. Plus, Ryan Sandberg is presented with the Lifetime Achievement Award and meet an athlete who is truly an inspiration to us all. And it's all hosted by Tom Waddle. For ticket information, call 312-596-4722 or log on to marchofdimesillinois.org.
The best damn sports show, period. After the post game on Fox Sports Net.
You're watching the Labatt Blue Chicago Blackhawks Intermission Report on Fox Sports Net.
First intermission, 1 period gone in Calgary. You know what, Steve? Same start. Good start on the road for the Blackhawks. They get the first goal, but unlike the games we've seen in the recent trip, they're going to go in trailing at the end of 1 period of play. And we're going to bring in Troy Murray right now because Steve is going to make the point about, you know what, maybe it's better to chase, right?
Well, I think, Troy, we talked about the other night, they're up 1-0 after 1. They have a great start tonight. They have a great couple of shifts after that. They're still down 2-1. Maybe from a team standpoint, maybe it's better if they're going in the locker room down 2-1 instead of having that comfortable lead after 1.
Well, I think that, the comfortable lead after 1 should have been a lot more than just the 1 goal in Edmonton. But tonight, again, very excellent start. Mark Bell came out and had a very physical first shift. The first time that they go down into the Calgary zone, Roman Turek has a terrible turnover that goes right to Kyle Calder. He puts it out to Tuomo Ruutu, and he buries the shot between the pipes. But at the same time, it's a great start by the Blackhawks. They come out, and then at the other side of the net, the Calgary Flames, and they end up scoring 2 goals. So another great, solid effort by the Blackhawks finds them behind the 8 ball. And Steve, you've been there before, and it is so frustrating to go in that locker room. You've worked hard, and even if you're ahead, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen for you. And this team has just been battling through a lot of adversity all season long. So hopefully they're not going to put their heads down. I don't think they will. Brian Sutter certainly is not going to allow that to happen inside the locker room. So look for another 40 minutes of solid hard work.
No, I think that Brian, having played under him in a couple different cities, he actually, in this situation, he probably didn't even go in there and say anything. I think the guys have been together long enough this year, and they've been playing for long enough that, sometimes it's not the coach that has to go in and say something.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. And the leadership of the team, the guys like Alex Zhamnov and the young kids, Mark Bell, Kyle Calder, you don't have to go in and say, hey, we all can look at ourselves and we all can be better. We have to have better coverage in our own zone on the penalty kill. You know what? We went for the fake that Craig Conroy kind of just batted around in the corner before he got the puck to Lidman. But you have to hold your ground, hold your position, and know who's behind you. So that's something you can't teach on the chalkboard. You can't draw X's and O's and say this is the way it's going to happen. You have to have that sense on the ice. And you're absolutely right. Somebody in the locker room, other than Brian Sutter, because if he keeps going in there and harping on these guys that this is what we got to do, they're going to start droning it out. And I don't think that they've done that, but it has to come with inside the locker room. Brian Sutter can only throw the guys over the board, and once they're on the ice, they have to get it done.
Troy, thanks so much. We will see you again after the game. You know what? I like this kind of TV, Steve. I just kind of sit here and let the players go at it. And, hey, I still get paid the same amount no matter what, so that's not bad. When we come back, we will take a look at our Geico Direct moment, and then a little bit later on, highlights from the first period as we continue. The Flames leading the Hawks 2-1 after 1.
For the second.
Whoa! No score!
We're leaving in 5 minutes, guys.
Mercedes-Benz 4MATIC all-wheel drive. Disappointing kids all over Chicagoland. Available in every class of sedan and wagon.
Jack Daniel's whiskey is made with great care. Please enjoy it the same way.
Introducing the ATA Miami Getaway Sale, or the Honolulu Getaway Sale, or the New York Getaway Sale, or the San Francisco Getaway Sale, or Cancun, or Phoenix, or Boston, or just about anywhere you want to get away to. ATA has a great sale fare to over 40 cities in all. But the sale won't last long, so whether you want to get away to St. Pete or Pittsburgh, call ATA today.
Weeknights, it's a who's who on the best damn sports show, period.
The Rock! Pamela Anderson! Chris Rock!
You just move your hips in a circle.
That is must-see T-Busy right there.
After the postgame on Fox Sports Net.
Totally Football.
Jay, you were actually the one who called Keyshawn to tell him he was being deactivated.
Jay Glazer breaks the stories before anyone else.
There's a good chance he can get a year's suspension.
Totally Football. Weeknights on Fox Sports Net.
Comcast, proud to be Chicagoland's new cable company.
Our Geico Direct moment tonight, head coach Brian Sutter. You know what? He's pretty well got it nailed talking about the Calgary Flames, saying they've got a young, quick, strong defense, and saying the Hawks have to be good early because the Flames start good all the time. And you know what? Steve, it was the Hawks that started very well early as we take a look at our Geico moment in action.
Hawks dump it in from there. And then Turek threw it away in behind. Here's an open net, and they score. Ruutu set up by Calder after Roman Turek threw it away and couldn't get back into his goal crease. 57 seconds in, 1-0 Hawks.
We have seen a lot of goaltender adventures in the last week or so, haven't we?
Well, you know, the goalies, they go out of the net, and here's a prime example. Roman Turek gets caught, and Ruutu makes him pay.
All right, the Hawks are going to have to make the Flames pay some more in the second period of play. 2-1, Calgary leading the Hawks. Highlights coming up after this.
Chicago Blackhawks hockey is brought to you in part by your local area Lexus dealer, who invite you to test drive a Lexus today.
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
Baby, it's cold out there.
This evening has been
Hoping that you
so
drop in.
very nice.
I'll take your hands, they're cold as
I ought to say no, 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 sir. At least I'm gonna say that I tried.
What's the sense of hurting my pride?
I really can't stay.
Baby, don't hold out.
Oh, but it's cold.
Why hunker down for another winter of drafty rooms and high energy bills when you can call Empire today and get new custom windows in a week? We'll bring samples to your home. You'll save with our low prices, plus make no payments for a year. If the thought of all those high energy bills leaves you cold, call Empire today. You'll have new custom windows installed in a week.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today. Call for siding in a week, too.
Welcome back. Flames leading the Blackhawks 2-1. By the way, how do you like the Arizona Ice Cats here on Jersey night, huh?
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Very Ranger-esque.
Gotta like playing hockey in the middle of the desert. All right, let's take a look at the highlights from. This isn't hockey in the desert. This is hockey at outside temperature, 8 below zero tonight in Calgary. And Roman Turek goes wandering, doing his best Patrick Waugh imitation. Saw Patty do this all the time. We saw Ty Conklin do this earlier this week, too.
Well, you know, Turek gets caught behind the net, throws it. Calder makes a great play here, throws it right in front of Ruutu, and he makes Turek pay for his wandering.
1-0 Hawks early off the turnover in the neutral zone. Craig Conroy finds Jerome McGinley. It's our fault, Steve. We talked about Jerome McGinley not scoring against the Hawks this year. Oh, well.
I mean, kiss of death, you know, buy a house, get traded, mention the guy not scoring, scores a goal.
That's the way it works in the NHL. After the goal, Mark Bell, pretty good shot on goal. Clearing attempt doesn't get out. Nathan Dempsey, a good shot, swallowed up by Turek, and then the Flames later on the power play. Craig Conroy, Tony Lidman, and the defenseman pinching in for the score. Flames cash in on the power play. They lead it 2-1.
Oh, here you go. McGinley gets the puck, slides it back down below the net. You know, the defense kind of collapsed, leaves Lidman right out in front. Great pass, and buries it behind Passy.
Okay, so here we go. The Blackhawks, you know, same kind of formula, but they're trailing now going into the second period. And after that goal in the early going, the nice folks at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois were reaching for the checkbook because they will make a donation for every Blackhawks goal this year. Their donation will be made to the Jane Addams Hall House. Now, our player of the period, you know, a guy that we're starting to like a lot around here, Jonathan Aitken. You know what? He goes up toe-to-toe against some heavyweights. Olival lands a bomb. Aitken doesn't even flinch, and he lands a couple himself.
No, I mean, he's a big, strong player. You know, Olival's been a heavyweight for the last few years in this league, and Jonathan Aitken has, you know, proven to us, you know, we talk about it off camera. He's one of those guys that, you know what, if he keeps doing those little things like he's doing, showing up every night and fighting the big guys in the league, he's going to have a spot in the NHL.
And the thing he has to do now, show that he can play a regular shift. And man, a guy that tough that can throw bombs like that, always a spot for a guy like that. 2-1, Flames over the Hawks. We'll see you later.
The Hyundai Sonata makes more sense than ever. Once again ranked most appealing entry midsize car by J.D. Power & Associates. It's $3,700 less than a Toyota Camry LE when comparably equipped. And only Hyundai has America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. Test drive the 2004 Hyundai Sonata, starting at just $15,839. When your car makes this much sense, you win. Get a 2004 Hyundai Sonata with $1,500 cash back or 0% APR.
UIC basketball tips off on Fox Sports Net. Cedric Banks and the Flames will be up to the challenge when they battle the Butler Bulldogs in a Horizon League showdown. UIC Butler tomorrow at 1 on Fox Sports Net.
Fox Sports Net wants you to see the Blackhawks live from the wildest section in the UC. Log on to fsnchicago.com for your chance to win 4 tickets to the Hawks Nest. Or to purchase tickets in the Hawks Nest, visit chicagoblackhawks.com. It's the 17th annual Fox Sports Net Sports Awards benefiting the March of Dimes. Chicago's premier players will gather for one special night. Scheduled to appear, Jocelyn Tebow, Marty Booker, Esteban Loaiza, Joe Borowski, Jesse March, and Jamal Crawford. Plus, Ryan Sandberg is presented with the Lifetime Achievement Award and meet an athlete who is truly an inspiration to us all. And it's all hosted by Tom Waddle. For ticket information, call 312-596-4722 or log on to marchofdimesillinois.org.
Fans, join Tyler Ernest and Mark Bell, Kyle Calder, along with assistant coach Al McAdam at the Miller Lite Pucks and Pasta Dinner, Tuesday, February 17th at Maggiano's Little Italy in downtown Chicago. Enjoy a question and answer session, a 3-course Italian family-style feast, and participate in the raffle and silent auction. Tickets are $60 and $40 for all kids 12 and under. All proceeds benefit Chicago Blackhawk charities. For reservations, call Maggiano's at 312-644-7700. The Pucks and Pasta Dinner, presented by Miller Lite, February 17th.
Welcome back to the Pengrowth Saddledome, where the Calgary Flames have a 2-1 lead over the Blackhawks. Critics are calling the best damn sports show period a 90-minute frat party with irrelevant skits, insightful interviews, and sharp locker room banter. Tonight is Barry Hallbound and model Pamela Anderson. The best damn sports show period tonight after both pours on Fox Sports Net.
Tuomo Ruutu has the Blackhawk goal in the game, but the Flames scored twice after he put Chicago out in front, so it's a 2-1 Calgary lead. As we get ready for period 2, Roman Turek to our left for the Flames, and Steve Passmore to our right for the Blackhawks. And we get underway. The draw is picked up by Ferentz deep in his own end. Checked by Ruutu, forced a turnover. Here's Calder. Over to the far side, his pass deflecting. And then the Flames able to come up with it. Hawks send it back into Calgary territory, but this one's going to be ruled icing against Chicago.
Blackhawks getting the edge on shots on goal in the first period, 12 to Calgary's 8. At the same time, find themselves behind by 1 goal. And it was another solid effort by Brian Sutter's troops. Frustrating as it may be, they have to continue with the good effort.
Now the draw picked up by Robida. He clears it around the boards and out. Jordan Leopold rolled it up the right side. Donovan to the Hawk line. Sean Donovan Turns on the near side, dropped it back. Leopold, a long shot, never got through. And it's picked up by Robida. Nearing to the neutral zone. There's Leopold right back over the line, center one, then got it back. Here's Leopold, and he shot it up over top of the net. Held in by Regier. His long shot hit the skate of Berard, and the Hawks able to clear it out of there. The Flames, Donovan is checked by Berard at center. Hawks send it in there deep. Back is Regier. The right wing boards and Donovan. He reversed it. And the Flames will fire it around and out. Here's Tyler Arneson back to the line. Threw it into the near corner. Thornton is grabbed along the boards by Gauthier. Then Arneson pushed it in behind. Moen and a jam it loose. Left it along the end boards. Thornton's pass hit the back of the net. Now Thornton has it again. Right to center. Here's Henry. Oh, and he shot one just wide. Rebound Arneson. He coughed it up, and the Flames clear it to center ice. Steve Montador fired a long pass beyond everybody. This one rolling the length for an icing call.
Burke Henry getting a good scoring opportunity right in front of Roman Turek. Taking a pass from Sean Thornton. Wide open in front of the net, and Roman Turek just gets his shoulder and knocks it over the top of the bar. But great play by Sean Thornton. Burke Henry all alone in front, can't bury it.
Zhamnov wins a draw, then Rutu with a long shot that goes wide. It's held in by Strudwick. Threw it in behind the net. And Rutu now looks for Zhamnov. Got it to Calder in the far corner. Kyle Calder with Tuomo Rutu in tight quarters. He left it for Zhamnov, who was taken down. A penalty is going to be called against the Flames. Here's Rutu in the near corner. Rutu center one. Zhamnov couldn't find the handle. Now he's got it. Zhamnov centering attempt picked off. The Flames control the whistle sounds.
Great play on the boards by Tuomo Rutu and Alex Zhamnov. Tuomo Rutu using those powerful legs to his advantage. Alex Zhamnov using his body to his advantage to keep the puck under control, and finally gets hauled down by Craig Conroy. He will sit for a couple of minutes. Blackhawks on the power play with an opportunity to even it up.
McLean, Bell, Arneson in front of Berard and Sullivan to start this power play. Ryan Berard has 5 points in his last 4 games coming into tonight. Now the Hawks dump one in. Berard has it at the far point. Walks to the top of the ring. Fires, and a save by Turek. Rebound. Shot right through the crease by Bell. And the puck cleared back to center. Then a near steal. McCammon nearly picked the pocket of Berard. The Hawks now able to regain control, and Bell had his pass deflect, and it's cleared to center. Sullivan steps to the line. Put it to Arneson, then to Bell. His shot. Blocker save by Turek. Rebound Bell on the far board. He finds Berard the deep slot. Got it to Sullivan along the boards. Sullivan back to Berard for a one-timer. Blocker save. Turek, he gave a rebound right to the slot. But the Hawks couldn't reach it, and the Flames clear. .45 seconds for the Chicago power play. As Burke Henry shoots it in. In behind the goal, Leopold. Cleared it up the boards. That's controlled by Clark. In against Dempsey. Clark trying to get away from him. Could not. As Dempsey played the body nicely, and then Clark goes skidding into the goal, which is knocked loose.
Hawk fans, have you made your plans yet for Valentine's Day? Why not join the Blackhawks at the United Center as they take on the Boston Bruins in a battle of original 6 teams. Game time is 2 p.m. Get your tickets today by calling Ticketmaster at 312-559-12 1-2.
Half minute left in the Blackhawk power play. Faceoff will be in the neutral zone. The Flames have 25 wins so far this season. 12 on the road. 13 here in their own rink. 13-9, 3-1. The Calgary home record. As the Hawks send it in, route 2 in the far corner. Had it knocked away. A long clip shot is blocked by Monador. He's able to clear it the length of the ice, and that'll finish the Calgary penalty. Both teams now are at full strength. Here's Zhamnov, bouncing it in there. Gauthier. Cleared it up the right side, Donovan. Cleared it to center, McCammon. Step to the line, and the Flames are offside. Sean Donovan, what a story this guy, and what a find he has been for the Calgary Flames. Sean Donovan's been around the league, it seems like forever, and the best he's ever done is 13 goals. He's already got 16 as a member of the Calgary Flames this year. Certainly going to get some attention in terms of a comeback player of the year, that sort of thing. Sean Donovan's always been sort of a grinder and up and down plugging type of winger, and his contribution to the Flames has been noticed around the league, and Nathan Dempsey's one guy who's paid attention.
When you get him on a team like Calgary Flames, which is that play a simple grinding game and get pucks to the net, and he's going to the net, then good things are going to happen for him, and they have this far. You know, he's been going to the net, banging in loose pucks, and with that comes confidence. And, you know, in this game, confidence is everything.
Not only is his 16 goals a career high, but his 27 points is a career high. So he is putting up some pretty good numbers. He had a pretty decent year in 1995, where he last had his 13 goals, which was his past career high. Until then, he hasn't had a lot of offensive production, as you said, Pat, finding a nice home here in Calgary.
It's in the Blackhawks zone. Kobasu lost the handle of Robida, and the Hawks tried to clear, but Clark held it in. Clark got away from Aitken, cutting in, trying to center. Korolev in the right spot to break up the pass. Korolev got it to Robida, but he's checked. Korolev picked it up and able to find Nieminen, and he failed to get it out. Here's a chance for Kobasu. Big save by Passmore, as the Hawks should have been able to get out of their own end easily. Nieminen messed it up and resulted in a good scoring chance and a Chicago penalty. 6 minutes gone in the second. 2-1 Calgary. This is Hawk Hockey.
Owners are an obsessive bunch.
I wax my truck twice a week. I have a picture of my truck in my bathroom. You want a car? Get a car.
Toyota gives you even more to obsess about with the all-new Tundra Double Cab. The biggest truck we've ever built.
I haul band equipment.
And Tundra was named a best overall value.
How could you not want a truck?
Get great savings on select Tundras, like 0% financing for 36 months.
Nice.
Or 1,000 customer cash. Now at your Toyota dealer.
Circuit City's the place for DirecTV. Stop by today and get up to 3 rooms free, including installation, and a $75 Circuit City gift card after mail-in rebate when you activate any Total Choice programming package. And right now at Circuit City, make the most of DirecTV entertainment when you upgrade any receiver to a DirecTV DVR for just $99.99. Circuit City, we're with you.
SSR, Colorado, Avail, Malibu. The new Chevy showroom is on its way. The most complete lineup of vehicles on the road. Right now, use $1,000 bonus cash for a total of $4,000 cash back. Or get 0% APR financing on the 2004 Chevy Impala. But hurry, bonus cash ends February 2nd. The new Chevy showroom. See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
Billy Nieminen had an opportunity to clear the puck out of the Chicago zone, didn't get it out, and Stefan Robida ended up having to take a penalty on a scoring opportunity resulting from the turnover.
Flames trying to spring Iginla here, but he was in offside. So the whistle sounds.
Jerome Iginla, who scored one of the Flames' goal, has a tremendously hard shot. Always up there in the skills competition when they're taking the speed gun to the players' shots. He's one guy that you don't want to be winding up in front of the goaltender and letting her rip.
Now here's a Blackhawks steal. Sullivan to the deep slot. A long shot. Turek able to kick it aside. And now Saprikin made a soft pass that was nearly picked off, but the Hawks, or the Flames, I should say, able to maintain control. And here comes Iginla. Heard it to center. Saprikin now on right wing over the line. Stopping as they set things up. Saprikin put it to Conway, then to Iginla. He was checked. It's knocked away. Strudwick put it up the boards, not out. Ferentz sends it in deep. In the corner, Saprikin lost the handle. Hawks able to pick it up, and Igor Korolev cleared it.
Good play by Dempsey and Strudwick in the corner. And a nice play by Korolev, knowing that the puck was going to come up the near boards to get it and clear it down the ice.
Here's Clark on right wing over the line. Turns along the boards. Dropped it back to Jordan Leopold. Again to Chris Clark, top of the ring. Walks in, shoots. That's blocked by Aitken. Bounced over to the far board at Kovacic. Now a long wrist shot is stopped by Passmore. I'm not sure he had a good look at it till it hit him. But he's able to make the save and hold it.
Jonathan Aitken planted right out in front of Steve Passmore, created a screen that took a lot of the puck away from Passmore, and the shot coming from the half boards. Steve Passmore had to react quickly with the left leg, kick it out, and then cover up the rebound. He did not get a good look at that.
Half minute for the Calgary power play. Puck is clear to the near point. Leopold backhands it in behind the net. Kovacic now moves for the stuff shot, and a save by Passmore. He stopped him again. He made two stuff saves, and then Kovacic driven right into the Hawk goal, and Passmore not very anxious to help him get out of there. And some pushing and shoving after the fact.
Well, a young Kovacic battling in front of Steve Passmore, gets knocked in behind him, knocks over Steve Passmore, and ended up in the back of the net. Jason Strudwick coming in, Sully down in that area, giving him a good cross check. The young 21-year-old Kovacic tries to do a wraparound, gets pushed in by Sullivan over top of Steve Passmore, and doesn't really attempt to get out of that area. Passmore giving him a shot or two, and the referees will have to take a minute to put the net back on its moorings.
Flames with a 2-1 lead. Every game the Flames have played out of their last 7, they've been unable to string anything together, good or bad. Win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. And Daryl Sutter's club, as we mentioned earlier, even though they are 7 games over the 500 mark, are tied with a couple other clubs for the last playoff spot in the West. So they need to try to get more consistency back in the game. Now Aitken's going to get a penalty. Here the Flames, McCammon trying to center. Leopold mishandled it as he was ready to shoot. And just as the Robidoux penalty expires, Aitken will go to a warm seat.
Jonathan Aitken is going to get sent to the penalty box for a slash. Didn't really see where it occurred. Obviously in front of Steve Passmore as he's trying to protect that area. That's his job, and he kind of looked at the referee, shrugged his shoulder, and says, that's not a slash. As we get another look at it, I got to agree with him.
All right, the Flames with the extra man against Saprikin on the near board. Put it in behind the net, Conroy. He hangs on, rolled it over to the far point, Regier. Across to Leopold, a touch pass finds Iginla far side. Iginla, side of the goal to Conroy, centered. Leopold's in tight, couldn't hang on to it. Now a shot, and a save by Passmore. As from a big scramble out in front, they were able to advance it toward the goal. Now the Flames, Conroy. Left it on the near side. Saprikin walks in with a stuff shot. Passmore is able to shut the door, and he covers it up.
Oh, Stefan Robidas was very upset that Conroy was holding him, wasn't allowing him to get to his man. He took a good right hand jab at Conroy trying to get free, but that's interference by Conroy. He got away with the referees, didn't see it. Down to the left of Steve Passmore, and just before that there was a mad scramble in front that Saprikin ended up batting in a rebound towards Passmore, and he threw up the blocker, made the save.
The draw to the Flames, Ference. Clearing it up the boards, Reinprecht. Had it knocked away, then he got it back. Into the near corner, and Clark threw it in behind. Kobasu rolls it out to the line. Ference at the near point, swings it around the board. Chris Clark tried to center, it's kicked right back to him. Then he got it to Lidman, a long shot, never got through. Picked up by McLean. His clearing attempt is held in. Kobasu then was checked. Back of the goal it goes. Reinprecht picked it up. Out to the line, Ference to Reinprecht. He had it knocked away by McLean. Now the Hawks able to clear. Half a minute for the Calgary power play. We're halfway through the second, 2-1 in favor of the Flames. By the way, I should mention that on our television side of the second intermission, you get a chance to hear from the assistant general manager of the Blackhawks. Dale Talon's going to join us for a little chat. Here's Gauthier now. Clearing it up the boards. Donovan. Put it in behind the net. Then to the near side, and Monador. His long shot hits some traffic. The Hawk penalty over. Both teams at full strength as it is shot the length. This will be icing against Chicago. Halfway through the second, 2-1 Calgary. This is Chicago Blackhawk hockey.
Story. Here's Suzanne.
Thanks, Tom. As the volcano continues to erupt, we take you live to correspondent John Ryland, who's at the scene. John, what's the situation?
Suzanne, as you can see behind me, the lava is covering an area of about 2 square miles. It's a bad situation, but I do have good news.
What's that, John?
I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
More people are winning with the Hyundai Santa Fe. It's loaded with standard features for $4,400 less than a Toyota Highlander when comparably equipped. Now available with 4-wheel drive with traction control and a more powerful 3.5-liter engine. And only Hyundai has America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. The 2004 Hyundai Santa Fe starting at just $18,084 with utility package. With Hyundai, you win. Get a 2004 Santa Fe with $1,000 cash back at your local Hyundai dealer.
Pat Foley, Troy Murray back in Calgary. The Hawks of Troy should have given themselves a little breath of life here in the last few minutes, killing off 2 straight penalties. Well, let's see if they can use that to their advantage as they get back to 5-on-5. The Hawks able to dump one in. Robidas, bounce one to the corner. Picked out of there by McCammon. To Donovan. He tried to clear and it just escaped the zone. The Hawks back in offside.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Tommy Killer's giving himself a pat on the back, working hard. Brian Sutter using everybody on the ice. Sean Thornton even getting an opportunity to kill some penalty time or get some penalty kill time on the ice. Hard work and discipline goes a long way.
Now the draw cleared back into the Hawk zone. Conroy behind the net. Greg Conroy put it to the line. Leopold, a long shot, went wide. In behind the net, Saprikin. Battles to the corner, knocked down there by Zhamnov. Then Iginla joins in and he picked it up. Iginla against Berard along the boards. And Berard came out with it. Ryan Berard to Kyle Calder, rolled it ahead, but the play broken up. And Iginla carries back to the Hawk line with a long slap shot. He scores! Jarome Iginla, a 50-foot bullet by the stick side of Passmore, and it's 3-1.
We were just talking about the fact that Jarome Iginla has an absolute cannon, using Steve Strudwick as a screen from out near the top of the circles, directly in front of Passmore. He just winds up and lets one blow by Passmore. And now we have Sean Thornton and Oliwa.
Oliwa and Thornton right off the next face-off with the gloves off. And Thornton got in a right hand. Oliwa tried to answer, got in a right. And they wrestle at close quarters. Oliwa missed with one. Thornton tried to get in a right, just missing with an uppercut. And now they tumble to the deck.
Well, that's a great job by Sean Thornton, just realizing that they went down by a goal, tried to spark his team. Daryl Sutter sending out Oliwa right after that goal. They looked at each other on the face-off. I think it was pretty mutual. They just threw the gloves down as soon as the puck was dropped, and they had a nice long go. Oliwa picking up 2 more majors in this game to add to the 20 that he's already had so far for the Calgary Flames, but Sean Thornton certainly holding his own against the big 6'5" Christoph Oliwa.
Now the draw. Arneson in the offensive zone, dropped to the line. Dempsey long shot and a save by Turek, and he held on to it. Well, from here, the Hawks head east. Will be in Montreal on Sunday. That's an afternoon start. We'll have the hockey game before the football game starts, 1 o'clock, with the face-off time for the Blackhawks and Les Habitants on Sunday from Montreal. Now it's in the Calgary zone at the line. Henry, his long shot. Turek saw it all the way, gloved it, mishandled it, but McCammon able to capture for the Flames. Montador missing Donovan with a pass. This one's going to go the length for an icing call. And we mentioned this is a very busy sequence. You know, Troy, really, some of the guys who work the hardest for any hockey team and get the least amount of credit deserve a kudo now, I think, and that's the trainers. You've been around these guys a long time. Troy Parchment, Bill Staley, Mark DePasquale, Mike Gapsky, these guys, especially when you do a long road trip like this, you wonder how they ever, when they ever sleep.
Well, when the team got back, or got into Calgary last night, it was the trainers that had to go down and spend a couple more hours to sort out the locker room, get the equipment ready for this morning and for tonight's game. They didn't get much sleep, but that's their job. They don't get thanked a whole lot, but they're certainly a big part of any team in professional sports.
And really, you know, for those guys, it just never seems to end, but they seem to always do it with a smile on their face. Here come the Flames moving in a centering pass, kicked aside by Passmore, deflected to the line. It's held in there, and now Berard behind his own net. Give it to Robida, and Sullivan, he gave it up. Here's a shot that's blocked, and the rebound to Bell. Mark Bell in over the line, left it for Berard. Get it knocked away. The race is on to the other end. Clark pulled down. The Hawks going to get a penalty. Here's Lombardi, and he shoots. Shot it wide. And as the Hawks get control, well, they haven't gotten it yet. Lombardi is checked. Now they control it. And the Flames will go back to the power play.
Well, it's the Calgary Flames who have kept up the tempo midway through the second period and into the latter minutes. Brett McLean, realizing that 2-on-1 was going to happen, caught at the blue line in defensive positioning where he's not really comfortable with. Had to haul down Chris Clark, and Matt Lombardi walked in with a good scoring opportunity and fired a hard wrist shot over the top of the net. The Blackhawks again are going to have to be asked to come up with a huge kill.
Here's the draw now, held to the line by Regier. His long shot deflected wide. Lines up in behind the Chicago net. McCammon had his pass picked off. And Robidas works back the other way. Lost the handle and offside is whistled. I'm talking about the Blackhawk trainers, Troy. And Mike Gapsky's been head trainer for a long time. I'm really proud of that guy. He has dropped a pile of weight in the last year or so. Works out almost every day. And you may wonder what inspired him to go on the program that he did. He got lost in Chicago. Pulled into a gas station, said, how do I get to 294? And the guy said, why don't you drop 50? But you know, he has. I think he's dropped about 50 pounds, so good for him.
He's half the man he used to be. He's a good man, I'll tell you. So is the rest of the training staff for the Blackhawks.
Yeah, and you know, their job, we talk about how hard they work, and it really is in many ways almost a thankless job. They rarely get the recognition that they probably should. So,
well, no, none of the players, and even in my day, none of the players ever thanked the trainers for making sure that their equipment was in the right order, your skates were dried, but you heard about it when they weren't.
All right, here's a Ginla on the Calgary power play. Sets up on the far side. Now leaves it there for Conroy. Put it out to the line. Regier gave it back to Conroy. He cuts in. He finds Leopold. He shoots. Oh, Passmore! Flashed the leather with a dandy glove save.
Steve Passmore making a huge save on Jordan Leopold, denying him for his 6th goal of the season. Flames move the puck around real nice, and Leopold to the left of Steve Passmore gets a good shot away, and Steve Passmore just flicks the glove out and snabs it.
Now the draw. Back that along the board. Jelena got to it. Then Dempsey got to him. Along the boards, they still wrestle for it. Finally, it's picked up by Donovan. Sean Donovan is checked by Strudwick, then stolen away by Bell. He cleared it. And that will finish the Chicago penalty. Both teams now are at full strength. Jelena to the Hawk line on left wing. Ridden to the corner by Robidas. And it's cleared to the near side. Ferentz had it knocked away, but it's held into Lidman. His long shot floats up off the glass. Flames dig it out in behind the net. Jelena then was checked. And McCammon picked it up. Goes to the deep slot. Lidman waits, shoots, and a save by Passmore. Rebound picked up by Sean Donovan. Donovan had his shot blocked. And Bell aired it back the other way. Now a bouncing puck at center, picked up by Berard. And the Hawks will dump it in. Chris Clark on the near side. Got it back around the boards. Calder chasing to the corner. Got help from Zhamnov. Turns and shoots, and a save by Turek. Rebound hacked into the crease, and they score! Calder and Ruutu were both there flailing away. It floated up over the prone Turek and in, and the Hawks back to within one.
Now pick your choice. Who's going to get credit for the goal? It's either Tuomo Ruutu or Kyle Calder. But Alex Zhamnov made the whole play happen by spinning into the corner, turning around and firing a shot that got to the front of the net. Roman Turek couldn't handle the rebound. And Kyle Calder after being in the corner, was right there with Tuomo Ruutu. Both guys had a couple whacks at it, and I think it's Tuomo Ruutu who's going to get credit for his second goal of the game and his 8th of the season.
Now from the draw, the Flames send it in. And Henry able to scoop it out of there.
Assistant number 13, Alex Zhamnov, and number 15, Tuomo Ruutu.
Well, they've announced Calder as the goal scorer. It sure looked on our replay as if Ruutu may eventually get credit for it. For now, they're giving it to Calder, though. We'll see if that changes in the intermission. Now the Flames again with a long shot, never getting through. And it's picked up by Burke Henry. Carrying it into the Calgary zone. This one's going to be ruled icing against Chicago. 2.5 left in the second. Flames 3, Hawks 2. This is Chicago Blackhawk hockey.
Chicago Blackhawks hockey is brought to you in part by Chevy. Test drive a new Chevy car truck today at your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealer.
SSR, Colorado, Aveo, Malibu. The new Chevy showroom is on its way. Completely new models busting into the new year to form the most complete lineup of vehicles on the road. Right now, get $3,000 cash back or 0% APR financing for 60 months on every 2004 Chevy Tahoe and Suburban. The new Chevy showroom. See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
UIC basketball tips off on Fox Sports Net. Cedric Banks and the Flames will be up to the challenge when they battle the Butler Bulldogs in a Horizon League showdown. UIC Butler tomorrow at 1 on Fox Sports Net.
The best damn sports show, period. After the post game on Fox Sports Net.
I got you something.
Oh, you shouldn't have. Oh, this is nice. And here's yours. I know it's not fancy, but it's what's inside that counts. And what's inside is Labatt Blue.
Wow.
Huh?
I love it.
Break out the blue. Labatt Blue.
Awesome gift.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're getting another look at the goal, and we're still trying to figure out if it's Calder or Ruutu. Both guys in front of the net, and I think that they'll change that to Tuomo Ruutu. Regardless, I don't think they're going to be too worried about it because they're back in the game.
Well, the Hawks almost got worried here. A Calgary faceoff when the puck goes to the net, and Passmore fully outstretched with his right pad, able to make a save, and then they jam the front of the net, which the Hawks tried to keep clear, and temper's getting a little short.
As you mentioned, right off the face-off, Calgary Flames get control. Back to the point. Shot gets through to Steve Passmore. He covers up the rebound, but 1-2 Calgary Flames in the area. 4 Blackhawks trying to protect Steve Passmore when he couldn't come up with the initial save and cover the rebound. Boy, we got another look at it from an overhead camera view here, and Steve Passmore made a tremendous save with his right pad on the rebound. Kicked out his right pad. That keeps the game at only 1 goal down.
Now the draw. Aired into the neutral area. Flames send it ahead. And Strudwick is checked in the corner. Donovan looking to take it away. Strudwick able to take him down along the boards. And they battle away in the Blackhawk end. It comes loose to Zhamnov. Floats it in front. Just jumped away from Clark, who was getting to the net. Now Zhelina had it knocked off his stick, and here comes Calder. Calder rolled it ahead. Here comes Ruutu in over the line. Cuts in, shoots. Fought off. That hit the headgear of Turek, I believe. He took it up high and was able to then corral the rebound.
Tuomo Ruutu has been flying in this game. Has 1 goal, may get another goal, but he has been firing the puck with a lot of authority. Driving his legs, and when Tuomo Ruutu fires that puck, It's moving, much like Drew McGinley. He has got a wicked wrist shot, and that last shot hit Roman Turek square in the beak.
Face off to the left of Turek. Here's the draw. Deflecting up off the netting. So they will line up to the right of Roman Turek, who in his career against the Hawks has had 14 decisions, only 2 losses. 10-2-2 and a terrific 1.66 goals against average in previous work against Chicago. Now the draw, Montador. Out it to a Ginlan right wing. Then to center for Gauthier. Dumping it in. Ginla out of the near corner. And lost the handle. And Bell to Sullivan on right wing. And over the Calgary line. He was taken off the puck by Gauthier. And the Flames again rolled it into Chicago ice. We're into the final minute of the second period now. 3-2 in favor of the Flames. Jonathan Aitken carrying it into Calgary ice. Taken by Lidman. Tony Lidman able to work his way back to the Hawk blue line. Lidman a long wrist shot up off the glass. Bounced away from Passmore to the slot. Now Reinprecht had his pocket picked. And the Hawks come away with it. Arneson is checked at center. And it winds up on the stick of Berard in his own end. And that's going to finish period 2. Each team scores once in the second. Hawks have had 24 shots, the Flames 23 up till now, but at the end of 40 minutes of play, Calgary 3, Chicago 2. This is Chicago Blackhawk hockey.
Owners are an obsessive bunch.
I wax my truck twice a week. I have a picture of my truck in my bathroom. You want a car? Get a car.
Toyota gives you even more to obsess about with the all-new Tundra Double Cab. The biggest truck we've ever built.
I haul band equipment.
And Tundra was named a best overall value.
How could you not want a truck?
Get great savings on select Tundras, like 0% financing for 36 months.
Nice.
Or 1,000 customer cash. Now at your Toyota dealer.
Growing up, Fred and Ernie were very close. They had to be. They were born joined at the finger. But then everything changed when Ernie became one of those bandwagon fans.
Check out my new Red Wings jersey.
You know you're gonna lose? Oh, I'll see you later. Oh, yeah! You like that? That one? Yeah, what about that now, huh?
So while Fred has no choice but to put up with teams he doesn't care about, thankfully, you do.
17 years in a row, Schaumburg Honda Automobiles has been the Midwest's largest volume Honda dealer. But how? Our prices help. But it's our service that keeps our family of customers coming back.
Right now, get 1.9 APR on any Accord coupe or sedan.
There's only one, Bob Rohrman.
Bob Rohrman, Schaumburg Honda Automobiles, just 8 blocks west of Woodfield Mall on Gulf Road. Schaumburg.
Welcome back to the Pengrowth Saddledome, where the score is 3-2. Calgary Flames after 2 periods, and I'm joined by Hawk defenseman Brian Berard. Brian, another excellent start to the game, scoring in the first minute, just like yesterday night against the Edmonton Oilers. And to continue, the struggles have been there, but you guys have seemed to battle through. How have you felt about the first 40 minutes?
I think our starts have been great. We can't complain about them. Every game it seemed that we get off to a good start, 1-0 lead. It's just we got to finish. I mean, tonight it seems in a few areas we're getting a little outworked, and this team, we can't allow that. We got to keep shooting the puck, and the rebounds are there. We got to score some goals.
Brian, you had a goal and assist against the Oilers last night, and your offensive production has been there. Is it feeling a little bit more confident? I mean, your skating has been excellent in the last couple of weeks. Do you feel that groin injury is long past you now?
It has. I mean, they held me off the ice a few, I say, extra days, make sure I was in good skating shape, and you know, it's tough to come back from a groin, but I've had no problems with my skating, and offensively I felt pretty good.
Brian, you've been on a couple NHL teams now, and I want to ask you, how has the attitude inside the locker room been? I mean, this has been very frustrating for you guys, and I know that Brian Sutter has tried to keep this as positive as he can, but inside the locker room, I think that it's been pretty decent. What's your feelings?
It has. We got a good group of guys, which is important, but you know, it's always tough when you're losing. It's not fun, and I've actually been through it before with a young team in New York Islanders, and it's a struggle. I mean, we just got to keep working hard and hopefully get some breaks. It seems that you know, we don't want to make excuses, but we've had some tough breaks with injuries, and we just got to keep plugging. We're a hard-working team, and hopefully we can get some bounces and turn this thing around.
All right, Brian. Thanks and good luck for the third period.
Thank you.
That was Hawks defenseman Brian Berard, and now we're going to take a look at the Volkswagen drive to the net. Tuomo Ruutu takes a pass from Kyle Calder and a turnover by Roman Turek. Calder out to Tuomo Ruutu, and he buries it 6x4 for his 7th goal of the year. The Volkswagen drive to the net. We'll be back with more right after the break.
SSR, Colorado, Avail, Malibu. The new Chevy showroom is on its way. The most complete lineup of vehicles on the road. Right now, use $1,000 bonus cash to get $4,000 total cash back on every 2004 Chevy Trailblazer, or choose 0% APR financing. But hurry, bonus cash ends February 2nd. The new Chevy showroom. See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
Comcast is working hard, so you won't miss a moment. We're working hard to bring you crystal clear pictures with digital cable. We're working hard to bring you high-speed cable internet. And at Comcast, our promise is to continue bringing new technologies home to you first, to keep you in touch, informed, and in sync, with everything you need to stay connected, now and in the future. All from one single source, Comcast.
Shining is commitment and dedication. And just as you support others, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois will continue to support the efforts you make to keep well. Because when you aspire and succeed, others will surely follow. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, shining through.
Owners are an obsessive bunch.
I wax my truck twice a week. I have a picture of my truck in my bathroom. You want a car? Get a car.
Toyota gives you even more to obsess about with the all-new Tundra Double Cab. The biggest truck we've ever built.
I haul band equipment.
And Tundra was named a best overall value.
How could you not want a truck?
Get great savings on select Tundras, like 0% financing for 36 months.
Nice.
Or 1,000 customer cash, now at your Toyota dealer.
The broadcast rights of this game have been granted to Fox Sports Net. Any reproduction or other use of this game without the consent of Fox Sports Net or the Chicago Blackhawks is prohibited. You're watching the Labatt Blue Chicago Blackhawks Intermission Report on Fox Sports Net.
Welcome back to the Pengrowth Saddledome, where the score is 3-2 Flames. After 2 periods, let's get right to it. Let's take a look at the pitchers for the second period highlights. With the Flames on the power play, Stefan Robin in the box for hooking. Steve Passmore makes a couple good saves on Chuck Kobasu. Steve Passmore on his game early. The slash on Jonathan Aiken. Saprikin has a good scoring opportunity. Score 1-1. Drew McGinn flies one by Steve Passmore in the very next shift right off the faceoff. Sean Thornton and Christoph Oliwa get into a spirited heavyweight battle. Sean Thornton doing exactly what he should be doing, taking on the heavyweight of the Calgary Flames, taking on George Laraque last game, and big Wade Brookbank in the game before against the Vancouver Canucks. 2 heavyweights taking it at. On the power play again, Jordan Leopold is robbed by a glove save by Steve Passmore. And then next, 3 minutes left in the third period, Zhamnov throws into the front of the net. Kyle Calder, Tuomo Ruutu battling for it. Ends up in the net behind Roman Turek. And let's take a look at the stats through 40 minutes. Shots on goal, 24 Chicago, 23 the Calgary Flames. But The score that matters right now is the fact that the Calgary Flames are leading by 1 goal going into the third period. And we will be back with Pat Foley and his old partner, Dale Talon. You aren't going to want to miss it right after the break.
Labatt Blue would like to salute Johnny's Ice House in Chicago. Cheers to all Blackhawk fans watching the game at Johnny's and enjoying a Labatt Blue.
I got you something.
Oh, you shouldn't have. Oh, this is nice. And here's yours. I know it's not fancy, but it's what's inside that counts. And what's inside is Labatt Blue.
Wow.
Huh?
I love it.
Break out the blue. Labatt Blue.
Awesome gift.
Oh, yeah.
Honda of Lisle is the Honda Superstore where you always save more on the finest selection of new Hondas with exceptional savings on new 2004 Honda Civics and Accords. Honda of Lisle is the savings headquarters for new 2004 Honda Odysseys with Superstore savings on new 2004 Pilots and Superstore selection of new 2004 Passports and CRVs. You deserve the best, and the best place to get it is Honda of Lisle. You'll never pay more at the Honda Superstore. Honda of Lisle, just south of I-88 on Route 53 in the Lisle Auto Plaza.
Remember your dreams? Maybe you dreamed of winning the big race. Or maybe you dreamed of rocking the world, whether the world was ready or not. Or maybe you dreamed of stretching the limits of our imagination. Whatever your dreams, Sylvania lights the way with new daylight bulbs, the next best thing to natural light. Sylvania, see the world in a new light.
Darrell Waltrip's legend cast a shadow over Brother Michael and led to a family betrayal.
He was living with the Petties. Man, that's like living with the McCoys.
Beyond the Glory, the Waltrips, Sunday on Fox Sports Net. The race is on in the nation's best conference. Julius Hawks leads the pack in an ACC showdown with bitter rival Maryland. ACC Sunday Night Hoops on Fox Sports Net.
Welcome back to Calgary. The Flames lead the Hawks 3-2 after 40 minutes of play. I'm very nervous. I get to interview a very big NHL executive now, Dale Talon. Welcome back to the broadcast booth, partner, ex-partner, and a lot of things swirling around in your world. How have you liked the job change so far? I mean, every day must bring a pile of interest.
That's right, Pat. I figured I'd give you the one-word answer, but I can't wait to get up. And every day is invigorating, and every day something new is happening. Every minute of the day, it's really intriguing how much is going on a daily basis, and I'm loving every second of it. It's been I've been really enjoying it. I'm learning on the job and getting to travel all over the world again and seeing a lot of potentially good hockey players, not only the ones that we have, but other ones that we might get in this year's draft. So it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I missed you immensely, but life goes on.
Well, likewise, partner. Yeah. We still get to hang out every once in a while. Everybody wants to know about the Zhamnov situation. It's become public now. Hawks are going to move their captain. Do you get the feeling this is going to happen sooner than later, or will it drag out toward the trading deadline?
Well, I mean, you never know. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen in a month. It could happen in 2 weeks. We're in ongoing conversations with several teams around the league, and we're going to try and make the best deal possible for the organization, for the future of the organization. Alex has given a lot to this franchise, and we want to make the right deal, and hopefully that'll please him. But we have to look to the future, and that's what we're going. Things are tough right now, but as far as the future is concerned, our kids in Norfolk are playing quite well. They're coming along. Some of our junior kids and some of our European kids this year that are unsigned have had good years, and we have 14 picks in this year's draft, and we're going to have a good selection position, so we should do quite well in the draft. And as I said, it's tough to say keep the faith, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to build through the draft, make the odd good trade, and hopefully get some prospects or picks with these deals that might be oncoming. And then if a chance, the new CBA comes along, we'll go after some of the free agents. So our future I look at the glass as being half full, Pat, not half empty, and I can't worry about what's happened in the past. And as a group, we're going to try, and we've got a strategic plan to get ready for the future and have a solid franchise once again.
That's the way I've always been, an optimistic guy who's going to try to make things better. And, you know, you've got a big job in front of you. There's no question about it, but that's going to be part of the fun of the challenge. Very quickly, we're running out of time. It's been a very challenging year, no question about it, but you can learn something about people when things aren't going very well sometimes. I'm sure you've paid very close attention to Blackhawk games. Of the young kids that are here, that have been here most of the year, has anybody stood out to you in terms of being core people you can build around?
Well, you know, we're happy with our young players. I mean, they have really competed. In spite of the record, in spite of what's happened here on the road, you can see even tonight they give their heart and soul. We might not be as skilled as some of the other clubs with the injuries that we've had and with the rookies that we started with, but these kids, they compete, and they're going to grow through this. They're going to get stronger, and you can see how Ruutu's come along with a couple of goals tonight. He's starting to get some points. It was a real struggle for him in the first part of the year, but Mark Bell's having a solid year. Calder's got 15 goals. You know, there's some young people that have started to contribute, and they're going to be stronger for it. And, you know, it's good to see the character develop when things aren't going so well. It's easy to play well when things are going well. It's not so easy to do it when things are tough.
No question about it. Thanks for stopping by. Always great to see you, my friend.
Look forward to building a real solid hockey club.
And that's going to be the fun of watching the imprint that this man's going to have in the future. The Blackhawks trail the Flames here at the end of 40 minutes. Back after this.
Circuit City's the place for DirecTV. Stop by today and get up to 3 rooms free, including installation and a $75 Circuit City gift card after mail-in rebate when you activate any Total Choice programming package. And right now at Circuit City, make the most of DirecTV entertainment when you upgrade any receiver to a DirecTV DVR for just $99.99. Circuit City, we're with you.
4X Motion all-wheel drive, hill descent assist, a GPS navigation system, 4-corner adjustable air suspension, a 310 horsepower V8 engine. Yep, our Touareg already comes available with all sorts of hardware, and we just added some more. The Volkswagen Touareg, Motor Trend Sport Utility of 2004.
In the Saddledome, the Blackhawks trail the Flames 3-2 as we embark upon the third period. Steve Passmore to our left for Chicago and Roman Turek to our right for Calgary. And here we go with the third, the face-off control by the Flames. Ruutu able to break up a lead pass. Now it winds up eventually back at center. Robida dumps one in. Calder to the far corner is checked by Leopold. Then Ruutu came up with a wraparound and a save by Turek. Rebound taken by Donovan. Now Regier will bounce one back into the neutral area. Here's Alec Zhamnov. Able to clear it to center. It bounced there to Ruutu. He steps over the line with a wrist shot. That hit a leg. And laid on the mesh in behind the Calgary goal, so the whistle sounds.
Tuomo Ruutu's having a whale of a game. Finishing the checks, but I've been really impressed with the way that he's been flying down the wing and letting the shot go. Roman Turek has had to come up with a number of great saves on Tuomo Ruutu. Just seems that he's getting more and more confidence in his game in the NHL.
You know, Troy, it's something we were talking with Dale about. You watch these, you know, young kids develop, and yes, there have been a lot of growing pains, and yes, there's been a lot of frustration. But you know, part of the joy that I've had over these many years watching these Blackhawk games is, you know, when you see young people come along and develop and find their way in the National Hockey League. I mean, I remember watching Steve Larmer show up as a guy that only Orville Tessier knew about and develop into what really should have been a Hall of Fame player. And you know, stuff like that is really fun, and to watch guys like Mark Bell and Kyle Calder, and here you see Tuomo Ruutu. I mean, he's a 50% better player this week than he was in November, just because of confidence and figuring his way around the league.
No, you're absolutely right. And you know, you've had an opportunity to watch me for my first days as a Blackhawk to a bald-headed color guy. It's come full circle.
Well, that's been a lot of fun too.
No, but you're absolutely right. The maturity that you're seeing in these young kids is amazing. Tuomo Ruutu, I mean, you just see the smile that he has on his face all the time. He's a good kid. Comes to work, comes to compete. And you're going to get an opportunity to see him for a lot of years, and that's something that it is. And I hope that I'm a part of it and get a chance to see these guys grow as well.
Now Sean Thornton looking for a little help. Now we're going to have a scrap. The gloves are off Montador. Drops the gloves along with Moen. And Montador got a couple short lefts in. Surprising Moen with that. Now Moen to the left and Montador switched to the right. And Montador, now they each have switched sides with Moen swinging from the right. And they've each thrown a couple of wild haymakers that fortunately for the other guy I don't think landed very assertively.
It was a good battle between Moen and Montador along the boards that started the whole thing. They both looked at each other after having a good battle deep inside the Calgary zone. And they had a good long bout. And you mentioned, I think Montador's kind of surprised Travis Moen by ending up throwing a few left jabs that put Travis Moen a little bit unease, but he came back and threw some big haymakers, as did Montador, but a good scrap by Travis Moen. There's been a lot of spirit on this road trip. There really has, Pat. It started, you know, with the game in Columbus. There was a lot of penalties that took a lot of the flow out of that game, but Vancouver is a big physical game. Brookbank was in there. The Edmonton Oilers game, very physical game.
Here's Donovan cutting in with a shot. Tried to go short side, missed the net. That battle was the third fight of this game. And, you know, I mean, that just shows you right there that the Blackhawks, in spite of what the standings say, have come to compete every night.
You know what, Pat? That's a great call, because that's exactly what I was going to say. I says, you know what, that just shows you what that locker room is all about. They're not quitting, and they could easily just play this game out and play whatever is left on this road trip. Forget about it, but they're going down with the fight, and I love to see that.
I mean, come on, this Blackhawk team, they played 52 games, they have 12 wins. I mean, it'd be awfully easy to say who needs this, but they're hanging in there. They give it what they've got every night, and there's no more obvious description of that than what we've been seeing here the last couple of nights.
Well, it's something that Brian Sutter's talked about all season long, that the character of a lot of the people in that locker room, they're playing for one another. They're not playing for the scoreboard, and they have a lot of heart. They have a lot of competitiveness in them. And let's be realistic, they're fighting for jobs for next year.
You know, we're going to have a penalty coming up here against the Flames, but just one more point about that. I'll tell you what has been really remarkable to me about this season, with all the frustration that's been a part of it. This is the time when everybody usually, you know, it's not my fault, it's his, I had my guy. You know, everybody's pointing fingers, placing blame, and that's one thing about this group of Blackhawks. I have seen none of that. They have really been able to stick together, and I'm sure there's been plenty of times when it has not been easy to do. But they've shown themselves to have a lot of character and class.
Absolutely right. It could be so easy for point fingers in that locker room. And they just haven't done it. They've refused to make excuses for injuries. They've refused to make excuses for the schedule. They just go out and they know that their backs are against the wall, but they compete on every given night. And that's all you can ask for right now from these guys.
Here's Bell putting it on line. Berard walks in, fires, pats it, rebound, they score! An open net rebound for Tyler Arneson, who was right in the middle of the ice, and Turek, that's where he put the rebound. The Hawks on the power play, tied at 3.
Mark Bell made a beautiful play right in front of the penalty box. On the Flames side of center ice, seeing Brian Berard streaking down the left-hand side, and having an opportunity to speak with Brian during the intermission, and I felt that he's been skating better than I've seen him all season long. Obviously, that groin injury isn't hampering his stride anymore, and he has been firing the puck and skating it well. And his good shot caused a rebound that Tyler Arneson just simply had to tap right into the middle of the net.
Arneson's 4th goal in his last 8 games, his 13th of the season. And the Hawks, who once trailed 3-1, now have tied it at 3. Now it's deep in the Blackhawks zone. Zhamnov put it in front, hit the skate of Zhamnov, laid loose, big scramble. Nobody could find the handle on it. In behind the goal it eventually goes, and Zhamnov had it knocked away. Donovan rolled it over to the far point, held in there. Here's a long centering attempt. That was actually a shot went up off the glass, and the Hawks able to clear it to center ice.
This is another prime example where the Blackhawks down 3-1. Hey, let's just work hard and see what happens, and they've come back.
Here's Route 2 with a quick shot. Down low is Turek, and he hears the raspberries as he made that save. Troy mentioned it earlier, Turek has not exactly endeared himself to the Calgary faithful. The Flames now have iced it. You know, Daryl Sutter might have made the best trade in the NHL this season when he picked up a guy that he once had in San Jose, Mika Kiprasov, who is now hurt. But Kiprasov, in 16 games with the Flames, had 3 losses, 11 wins, and a goals against of 1.5. He was brilliant. And that really helped turn the Calgary season around. They gave up either a 2nd or 3rd round draft choice to pick up Kiprasov, which happened right after Turek had hurt himself. And I mean, that move by Daryl Sutter, who's also the general manager here, may have saved the Flames season.
Well, it was that streak where they got Kiprasov. They were the hottest team in the National Hockey League. That really put them in the position where they are right now. Other than that, they've basically been playing .500.
Here's Saprikin trying to move in. Poke check by Passmore. And the Hawks come away with it. Thornton on right wing. It was checked as he got to the line. Leopold rolled it up the boards, held in by Henry. His long wrist shot gobbled up by Turek. He gave no rebound.
And once again, the fans are giving it to him. The last game at home against the Tampa Bay Lightning, he gave up 6 goals and was really feeling the heat from the fans. And he gave a Queen's wave to the crowd, acknowledging their support.
Good thing he had his blocker on, or they would have realized it was a 1-finger wave.
Well, I would feel sorry for him a little bit more if we haven't had our share of struggles this year.
Bell center one, that's a shot, they score! Bell got it to Sullivan, who kicked to the stick and was able to hoist it over the glove of Turek. 3 unanswered for the Hawks. They lead 4-3.
Another great play by Mark Bell. He saw that Steve Sullivan was going to be open to the right of Roman Turek. After Steve Sullivan wins the faceoff, he goes around the far side of the net. Mark Bell takes a quick look, throws it over to Steve Sullivan, and he tucks it under a bewildered Roman Turek's glove and into the top shelf.
That's the 4th goal in the last 5 games for Sullivan. He now has 11 for the season. And the Blackhawks with a 4-3 lead. Shocking this Calgary crowd into stunned silence. It's cleared into the Hawk zone. Berard rolled it up the boards. Picked up by McLean. Clearing it ahead to Bell to the line. He's checked there. Now the Flames look to move back in. Jelen on left wing with a long centering attempt. Hiddle's leg. And it's picked up by Calder. Races back to the Flames line to Route 2. His long shot goes wide. Held in by Zhamnov. Then he was checked. And back at center ice is Aitken. Into the Calgary zone it goes. Route 2. Tied up along the boards, Conroy. Taken down by Zhamnov, who stole it. Leaves it in the corner. Ruutu whipped it out to the line. Here's a long shot by Aitken, deflecting wide. And behind the net, it's Leopold for the Flames. Able to clear it to center. Here comes Iggy to the line. Iginla left it for Saprikin. The shot. It hit a leg going wide. Iginla from the far corner. Now left it for Saprikin. He tried to center. It deflected back to Oleg Saprikin. Knocked off his stick to Korolev. Then to Arneson. Right wing to Thornton over the line. Shooting. And a save by Turek. And he held it. Well, the Blackhawks trailed by a goal coming into the third. Tyler Arneson on a power play tied it. And Steve Saddledome with a great kick to the stick. Put him in front 4-3. This is Hawk Hockey.
Chicago Blackhawks hockey is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Volkswagen dealers. Visit chicagolandbw.com for a dealer near you.
4X Motion all-wheel drive, hill descent assist, a GPS navigation system, 4-corner adjustable air suspension, a 310 horsepower V8 engine. Yep, our Touareg already comes available with all sorts of hardware. And we just added some more. The Volkswagen Touareg, Motor Trend Sport Utility of 2004.
Remember your dreams? Maybe you dreamed of winning the big race. Or maybe you dreamed of rocking the world, whether the world was ready or not. Or maybe you dreamed of stretching the limits of our imagination. Whatever your dreams, Sylvania lights the way with long-lasting, energy-efficient light bulbs. Sylvania, see the world in a new light.
The secret to Jack Daniels is our unique charcoal mellowing process. Maybe everything should be charcoal mellowed.
Face-off coming up to the left to Roman Turek. And the draw picked up by the Flames. Lidman to Jelena on left wing to center. He'll shoot it in. Lombardi on the far side. Rolled it to the side of the net. Bouncing puck. Big scramble. Jelena hacked it just outside the post. And it goes to the line. Ferentz kept it in. Up the boards, McCammon. His long shot never got through. And the Hawks will pick it up with McLean clearing it the other way. It'll be icing against Chicago.
Steve Passmore hasn't been too busy so far in the third period. It's been all Blackhawks, but on this play, he has to take a stuff shot from Chris Clark that just rolled by, losing his stick in the incident, but holding his ground. Puck scored between his legs, but harmlessly by the right-hand post, so Steve Passmore off the hook on that one.
Now it's cleared in behind the Hawk net. Conroy rolled it to the line. Regier, a long shot, went wide and bounced all the way back to center. Here's Zhamnov. The Ruutu was checked at the line. And the Flames come away into the Hawk zone. Saprikin was checked by Henry to the corner. Then Conroy picked it up. Put it to the deep slot. Here's Leopold, a long shot, floats wide off the end boards. It was a knock loose to Zhamnov. He cleared it ahead and Calder rolled it in there. And this one is going to be ruled icing against Chicago.
Calgary Flames are going to pick the intensity up here for the last half of the third period, and the Blackhawks are going to have to answer the call. There's no use sitting back. Keep taking the play to the Calgary Flames. Keep putting pressure offensively on Roman Turek. He hasn't looked sharp all game long. His confidence has to be wavering a little bit.
Well, we have played 9 minutes here in period 3. The Flames have yet to be credited, or no, one shot they've been credited with. The Blackhawks have been credited with 7, and 2 have gone in. Face-off will be to the left to Passmore.
The Canadian media are going to be all over Roman Turek if they lose this one.
Here's Leopold trying to walk in. He did. He shoots Passmore in and out of his glove. Rebound in behind. And rolled loose to the near side where Robida scooped it to center. Thornton dumping it in. On the far board, Moen. Grabbed by Reinprecht. Now the Flames able to pick it up. And Clark dumped it in. Passmore putting it around the boards. It winds up sliding loose to center. Flames dump it in. And the Hawks dump it out. Along the boards, it squirts loose to the Flames. And Dennis Gauthier unable to get away from Dempsey. Now the Hawks are 2-on-1. Sullivan over the line with Bell. Sullivan cutting it for Bell. He scores! Sullivan and Bell. The 3rd point of the period for Mark Bell. And the Blackhawks have a 5-3 lead.
Mark Bell has been red hot in the 3rd period. 2 assists and a goal. His 15th of the season. Steve Sullivan returning the favor. Mark Bell setting up Steve Sullivan, the last goal. Steve Sullivan with a beautiful little feather pass to Mark Bell. And he took one little step and fired it past Roman Turek. And Roman Turek is just getting lit up by the Blackhawks here in the 3rd period.
Mark Bell is 15th of the season. Assistant number 26, Steve Sullivan, and number 43, Nathan Dempsey.
Sullivan and Dempsey get the assists on Bell's 15th of the year. And now the Hawks lead by a pair. And the Flames were short of center when they dumped it in. But Iginla got there to save icing. Over to the far point. Ferentz ascended ahead of it. Hit one of the officials. Now picked up by Saprikin. To Conroy to Saprikin. He's forced back to the corner. Now Iginla. Grabbed by Aitken behind the net. Then dug out by Saprikin. Rolled it in front. Here's a shot. Passmore point blank on Conroy. Rebound. Passmore again. He beats Saprikin this time. Hawks want to clear, and they did get it out. 2 point blankers by Passmore there. Now the Flames are going to get another chance. Here's Kobasu. He shoots. And the save by Passmore got just enough. He fought it off and squirted past his arm, but not enough momentum to get to the crease. And now the Hawks will send it the other way for an icing call. It was once 3-1 Calgary. It's now 5-3 Chicago. This is Chicago Blackhawk hockey.
4X Motion all-wheel drive. Hill descent assist. A GPS navigation system. 4-corner adjustable air suspension. A 310 horsepower V8 engine. Yep, our Touareg already comes available with all sorts of hardware. And we just added some more. The Volkswagen Touareg, Motor Trend Sport Utility of 2004.
The 17th annual Fox Sportsnet Sports Awards benefiting the March of Dimes. Chicago's premier players will gather for one special night. Scheduled to appear, Jocelyn Tebow, Marty Booker, Esteban Loaiza, Joe Borowski, Jesse March, and Jamal Crawford. Plus, Ryan Sandberg is presented with the Lifetime Achievement Award and meet an athlete who is truly an inspiration to us all. And it's all hosted by Tom Waddle. For ticket information, call 312-596-4722 or log on to marchofdimesillinois.org.
Fans, join Tyler Ernest and Mark Bell, Kyle Calder, along with assistant coach Al McAdam at the Miller Lite Pucks and Pasta Dinner, Tuesday, February 17th at Maggiano's Little Italy in downtown Chicago. Enjoy a question and answer session, a 3-course Italian family-style feast, and participate in the raffle and silent auction. Tickets are $60 and $40 for all kids 12 and under. All proceeds benefit Chicago Blackhawk charities. For reservations, call Maggiano's at 312-644-7700. The Pucks and Pasta Dinner, presented by Miller Lite, February 17th.
The best damn sports show, period. Weeknights on Fox Sports Net.
It has been 19 straight games on the road without a victory for the Chicago Blackhawks. November the 7th, last time they won a game outside the United Center. Now a wonderful chance here with 8 minutes remaining in the third, and a 5-3 Blackhawk lead over the Calgary Flames. They wrestle for it in the Chicago zone. Zhamnov checked by Berard behind the net. Rolled back into the corner. Berard trying to ring it around. This one goes up off the netting, and the whistle sounds. And Troy Steve Passmore has been awfully strong in the Blackhawk net up till now. And you were here this morning, and he seemed to be a little worked up at one point.
Well, he certainly was worked up. They were doing a little drill there, and he knew he was going to play tonight. And Al McAdam, the Blackhawk assistant coach, was running him through some drills, and he took a shot off the inside of his blocker that really hurt his hand, and he had to go off the ice. And Mike Gapsky, the trainer, talked to him, and he said, "What do you think?" And he says, "There's no way that I'm going to miss this start tonight. So you don't say a word." And he just came out of that locker room with a purpose, and he has played spectacular.
Now it's cleared to center. Thornton dumped it in, but Arneson ahead of the play and a whistle.
Just to continue on there, he came over to the bench, and Mike Gapsky was watching the skate. I don't know if you can see a hole in the board in front of the Blackhawk bench, but he was trying to put one through there. He was steaming hot with the fact that he took a wicked shot off his, I think it's the pinky finger on his right hand, which would be the stick hand, but he wasn't going to miss this opportunity.
Now the draw, cleared back into the Blackhawk zone. Conroy, body Zhamnov out of the way. Then center, just missed the stick of Iginla. Held in by Leopold. Far board it goes. Here's Saprikin with a shot. Glove save, Passmore, and he held it. And then Saprikin and Strudwick colliding, but they back away.
The Blackhawks would be wise at this point to back away, as you said, Pat, from anything that would put them in any kind of penalty jeopardy. They have to play smart. No bad penalties. They don't have any play. Get the puck into the neutral zone. Make the Calgary Flames go the whole length of the ice to score a goal if they have to.
Now it's cleared in behind the Hawk net. They wrestle for it along the end boards. Now McCammon bounce one to the line. And Regier unable to hold it. Here's another 2-on-1. Sullivan with Bell again. Sullivan cutting in for Bell. That one broken up. Then it came back to Sullivan. And his shot was blocked in front of McLean. What a save by Turek. And the puck then cleared to center ice. Jelena over the Hawk line. Knocked down by Henry. And the puck cleared back into Flames territory. Here's Ferentz winding it up. He comes racing back to center. Now we got Mullen hurt. Ferentz over the line shooting. Pass one to save. He made a second stop after giving a rebound. Then Clark able to hack at that. And meanwhile, there was a lot of traffic, players changing in the middle of the ice. Mullen was very slow to get up, it appeared, but now has been able to rejoin the play. 6 minutes to go in the third. 5-3 Hawks. This is Hawk hockey.
Regular or quad cab. 1500 or heavy duty.
Man.
Cummins diesel or Hemi.
I can't decide.
And 0% financing plus a cash allowance.
Plus cash? Give me the Red Ram 1500 quad cab with a 5.7-liter Hemi. 28.
Announcing Zero Plus, a groundbreaking offer of 0% financing plus a $2,000 cash allowance on Dodge Ram, plus our 7-year or 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Hurry, Zero Plus just made the best values in America even better.
UIC basketball tips off on Fox Sports Net. Cedric Banks and the Flames will be up to the challenge when they battle the Butler Bulldogs in a Horizon League showdown. UIC Butler tomorrow at 1 on Fox Sports Net.
4X Motion all-wheel drive. Hill descent assist. a GPS navigation system, 4-corner adjustable air suspension, a 310 horsepower V8 engine. Yep, our Touareg already comes available with all sorts of hardware, and we just added some more. The Volkswagen Touareg, Motor Trend Sport Utility of 2004.
Fox Sports Net's coverage of Chicago Blackhawks hockey is brought to you in part by Comcast, proud to be Chicagoland's new cable company, and by Toyota. Get the feeling.
Pat Foley, Troy Murray in Calgary. The Hawks with a 2-goal lead and 6 minutes left in the third period. As Lidman now controls in his own end for Calgary. There's it to center. Clark flipped it in. Robida fires it around the boards and out. And the Flames, Ferentz. That is pass deflect. Now roll over the line to Calder. He's ridden to the corner by Lidman. He wouldn't mind getting a face-off there if he could, but now it's jammed loose along the boards. And again, Calder and Lidman are locked up. Finally, it squirts free to Ferentz. He's checked by Ruutu, took it away. Turns to the near corner, tried to center it, bounced in front. Arneson couldn't pry his stick loose. Calder does in behind. Calder, that is pass deflect. And now it's picked up by Tuomo Ruutu. Left it for Calder, to Ruutu in behind. Ruutu hangs on. Centered to Dempsey, his shot goes wide. Held in by Strudwick, and the Flames can't touch the puck in their own end. Here's the Ruutu on the far board. Pulled the trigger, and a save by Turek. And now the Bluebirds are out here in the Saddledome.
What a display of puck control by Kyle Calder, Arneson, and Tuomo Ruutu. As we've talked about all game long, Tuomo Ruutu has just been spectacular. Controlling the puck behind Roman Turek, feeding Nathan Dempsey, taking the puck from the corner, walking out, further out, letting a shot go that Roman Turek had to come up with a big save.
Over the line is Iginla, stops the near corner center, Saprikin a shot, save, Passmore. And he cleared it into the far corner. Conroy, his pass deflects to Regeer, his shot is blocked. Cleared back, not out, Regeer held it into Iginla. Shooting, Passmore stopped that. Rebound, Saprikin on the far side. Rolled it in deep. Dempsey able to absorb a check from Conroy, but then his clearing attempt held in. Centering pass, just missing Leopold. At the line, held in by Iginla. Center, Conroy, and he tipped it wide of an open net. Saprikin back of the goal. Threw it in front, but nobody home for the Flames. Sullivan fires it back the other way, and this one's going to be, well, maybe it won't be. Bell hustled to save icing. Hammered in behind. He paid the price as Regeer unloaded on Bell, who hustled to save an icing call. Now in behind the Hawk, that Jelena rolled it loose. Here's Iginla with a drive. He blasted it wide. Held it by Regeer. Got it to the near dot. McCammon to the slot. Here's a long shot tip. Deflected wide. The shot attempt from Ferentz. He broke his stick on it. That really hurt the Flames' chances there. And out comes Calder in over the Calgary blue line. Shot it around the boards. We're down to 3 minutes left in the third. 5-3 in favor of the Hawks, who have 2 goals from Tuomo Ruutu. Singles from Arneson, Sullivan, and Bell. Now in the near corner, Donovan worked his way in behind. Arneson took it away. And it's bounced back to center ice. Ruutu rolled it in. Here's a chance for Arneson cutting in. Trying to dance away from Lidman. Could not. And it's cleared. Back to center for Lombardi. He had to dump it in. Jason Strudwick cleared it to center. Here's McLean. Gonna have Thornton joining him. Here's the pass to Thornton. And he had the puck a little behind him. Couldn't corral it. McLean now. Threw it into the near corner. Mark Bell tied up along the boards. It's shot back to center. Picked up by Lombardi and over the line. Trying to stick handle but lost it. And the Hawks able to come up with it. Out comes Sullivan on right wing. Into the flame zone with McLean going to the net. Then it goes to Bell. He shoots. Shot it up over the top corner. And the rebound picked up by the Flames. And now they'll clear it back the other way. No icing here. That's good news for the Hawks and Henry, who will let the clock wind down as the Flames were changing. And we're down to 90 seconds left in regulation. Clear to the near side. Held in, a long shot, tip, good save by Passmore. That one was deflected, and Passmore able to cover it up.
Steve Passmore has just been spectacular in the last 10 minutes, robbing Jordan Leopold a couple times. Jerome McGinley's been in the crease. He has been unbelievable, putting up a wall in the crease for the Blackhawks tonight. And give everybody credit in front of him, Pat. Guys all over the place, blocking shots, finishing checks, chipping the puck out. Second efforts all over the ice.
Daryl Sutter's pulled the goalie. 6 attackers for Calgary. The draw cleared to the near side, then deflected out of the zone by Ruutu. And we go down to 1 minute remaining. And that's all that separates the Hawks from ending a long, frustrating drought. Flames will lose the hand of the puck. Shot the other way is going to be icing against Chicago with 51 ticks to go.
Well, they've been waiting a while for this opportunity. Daryl Sutter, I would imagine, is going to use his timeout. Yes, he has. So they will have one last opportunity to regroup. Haven't we seen this before, Pat, where Brian is usually the guy calling the timeout, trying to regroup his troops, being down 1 goal late in the game?
That's all right. Let the other Sutter do it for once.
Yeah, you bet. It's been just a gutsy effort by the Blackhawks tonight. Taking the lead in the first minute of the game, falling behind 3-1, answering with 4 straight goals. Mark Bell, Sullivan, Tuomo Ruutu, Arneson, all scoring goals for the Blackhawks, and Steve Passmore has just been a pillar of strength in between the pipes tonight for the Blackhawks.
He will look at a face-off to his right. And of course, 6 skaters remaining on for the Oilers, McLean and McCammon for the draw. McCammon won it. There's a Ginla on the near side. His shot is blocked. And jammed back to center. Bell picked it up, shove him under the empty net. Hit the goalpost. Oh! Hit the goalpost. The Flames still have a bit of a chance. Here comes Saprikin. His pass to the feet of Ginla, offside anyway.
Oh, Mark Bell. That's just torture. That would have absolutely sealed it for the Hawks. And Mark Bell tried a little backhand flipper that was oh so close. Clank off the right post. No go.
Well, the face-off now at center. And Zhamnov able to shoot it down. He advanced that puck intentionally all the way back into the Calgary zone. Here come the Flames. Ginla dumped it in. Over to the far side. Aitken cleared it out of there. This one's going to go the length. It will be icing with 11 seconds remaining. So the Blackhawks will taste victory away from the United Center for the first time since November the 7th, after 19 straight losses on the road. Oh, that's going to feel good, isn't it, fellas?
Pat, I'm going to get my first win, too.
Here's the draw in the Hawk zone. Aitken going to eat it along the boards. Clock winds down. I almost forgot how to say it, but Hawks win. Game number 999 for Brian Sutter. A very satisfying victory over the Calgary Flames. The offense led by Tuomo Ruutu, but certainly Mark Bell, a big, big hand with a 3-point third period. And there were lots of anxious and willing participants that had a hand in this win tonight. Steve Passmore, in the third period, they're giving him credit for 10 shots on goal, the Flames. It sure seemed like he made even more saves than that. Each team had 10 shots in the third. The Hawks finished with 34, and the Flames with 33. And Steve Passmore able to pick up personally his second victory of the season. So he was huge in the third period, and he was really strong throughout the game. But certainly the Flames outscored 3-0 in the third. They played better than that. They had all sorts of good opportunities, and Passmore just wouldn't let a pea get by him.
No, he was absolutely spectacular, and I'll tell you what, he went back to this morning in the morning skate. He wasn't going to be denied his opportunity to play this game tonight, and he was absolutely fantastic. There was all kinds of opportunities by the Calgary Flames to take real good control of this game halfway through the second period, but Steve Passmore stood strong, gave the Blackhawks an opportunity to find themselves, and they just came back and they worked tremendously hard. Give them credit from the top guy to the bottom guy in tonight's game.
Yeah, everybody who dressed had a hand in this one, and nobody a bigger hand offensively than our guest Mark Bell, a 3-point third period. Now you go into the third, Beller, and you're down a goal. What are you talking about in that intermission?
We just talked about staying on their defense and getting the pucks deep and working on just shooting the puck from everywhere. We felt he was just Turk was struggling a little bit with the rebounds, and it was evident on Arnie's goal.
Well, you and Steve Sullivan really had some nice chemistry going. I hope you have a monitor down there. Talk us through your sniper here.
Okay. Oh, look at that good-looking guy. Huh? So the guy kind of went to him, just put a stick down, and just tossed it over it, and I just tried to one-time it in the net, and it was a great play. I was kind of, don't take those, for sure.
That's an ender, Mark. That's not just a touch in the net.
I'll take it.
Well, it's got to be. You got to feel like the weight of the world maybe has been lifted off your shoulders, at least for a few moments. I know there's been so much frustration, especially on the road of late, but you guys got a lot to be proud of tonight.
Absolutely. I think we got an effort from every guy on the ice tonight. I thought Passy made some big saves for us in the second period in the power plays, and he was there for us, and our defense played well, get the pucks out to us, and I thought it was all-around effort, and 19's a lot better than 20, I think.
Well, 19's a good number, but that's my old number, but that's enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mark, after the first period, you guys came out and you scored a goal in the first minute, and then, everything started to seem like it was going to cave in again. The Calgary Flames ended up being up 3-1. But all through this whole thing, nobody has ever quit. Nobody has pointed fingers, and I was really proud of the effort inside the locker room. And is that the way that you guys felt to say, hey, we just got to keep plugging and it'll get better?
Absolutely. I mean, it's been tough the last, on the road, especially this year. But we got to give credit to the guys that dug down there in the third period. We stuck with our game plan the whole night and stayed patient, and no guy let up and let each other down, which has obviously happened when you lose that many games on the road.
Beller, I have found it remarkable with all the frustration this team has gone through this year, and I just want to get your thoughts on it, and Troy touched on it a minute ago. But nobody's pointing fingers. It is so easy, especially when things have been as much of a struggle as it has been. So many professional sports teams would have blown up by now, and you guys have somehow been able to, remain a group. You seem to be tight. You stand up for one another still when it would be easy to just sort of pack up the bus and bail it, and it just doesn't happen. I don't know how to even ask the question, but it's got to feel pretty satisfying.
Absolutely. It's been, publicized that, we're a young team. We've had injuries, but the guys that we've had that have been called up from Norfolk and the guys that have, they don't point fingers. We don't point fingers at anybody. This game is a game of mistakes, and everybody makes them from the top to the bottom. And we just got to, like I said, we just played hard, and we just kept going. And it's a tough question to answer too. It's just I'm just happy that we won tonight, and this is good. I don't know how to
great
answer.
No, that's a great answer, as it should be, Beller. Congratulations on a win. Thanks for stopping by. Go celebrate with your buddies.
Thanks, Pat.
All right, there's Mark Bell, one of the real offensive stars, and you talk about guys who are going to form the core of the future of this team. I think there is one of them.
Well, that is an absolutely good start, and the Sylvania Light the Lamp points leader for tonight's game is just that guy, Mark Bell, with a goal and 2 assists. Single-handedly put the Blackhawks on his shoulder in the third period, along with Steve Sullivan and everybody else who jumped on along for the ride. Mark Bell, the Sylvania Light the Lamps points leader for tonight.
That's the story from Calgary tonight, a place where Brian Sutter once coached, where his younger brother Daryl now does. A hard-fought contest throughout, and the Blackhawks standing up there and hanging in physically, and they were able to come from a 2-goal deficit to win a game on the road for the first time since early November. So for Troy Murray, Pat Foley, hoping you enjoyed the broadcast. We know you enjoyed the outcome, which was Chicago 5 and Calgary 3. Don't forget, more postgame coming up in a few minutes' time.
We're going to get the Caravan, America's best-selling minivan.
Plus the dual power sliding doors.
Plus the power hatch.
Plus the 4 captain's chairs. Plus the DVD.
Plus the 0% financing.
Or the cash allowance.
Plus the cash allowance.
Not or?
Plus.
Plus.
Plus. Plus then.
Announcing Zero Plus, a groundbreaking offer of 0% financing plus a $2,000 cash allowance on Caravan, plus our 7-year or 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Hurry, Zero Plus just made the best values in America even better.
Remember your dreams? Maybe you dreamed of winning the big race. Or maybe you dreamed of rocking the world, whether the world was ready or not. Or maybe you dreamed of stretching the limits of our imagination. Whatever your dreams, Sylvania lights the way with long-lasting, energy-efficient light bulbs. Sylvania, see the world in a new light.
If you're having trouble paying your bills, talk to America's largest bankruptcy law firm.
With a team of over 50 bankruptcy attorneys, we can get you out of debt once and for all. We've become America's largest by providing dependable service, flexible payment plans, and fast financial relief to over 50,000 clients. So take the time and stop the cycle. Call us and get the facts on debt relief.
Call 1-888-7-HELP-US. That's 888-7-HELP-US for a free consultation.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Fox Sports Net, where Chicago fans come first.
Live from our Fox Sports Net studios, we're breaking it down shift by shift. This is the Finlandia Chicago Blackhawks Post.
All right. I mean, finally, the Blackhawks get it done, and big victory in Calgary tonight. And Pat and Troy are standing by once again in Calgary. We're going to go right back to them because they are going to bring in Tuomo Ruutu, who had his first 2-goal game of his career. Pat and Troy, take it away, guys.
Okay, Jimmy, thanks very much. You know, we've talked about this during the game. It's really fun to watch young people sort of come along and develop, and it's happening right in front of our eyes. Tuomo Ruutu is a much different player now than he was in the first 2 months of the season, and it's all about belonging and feeling, you know, understanding where he's supposed to be and feeling like he does belong.
Well, there's no question about it that his maturity process has been moved along at a rapid pace. For a guy who comes into training camp with high expectations from all of the people in Chicago, he has performed from day one till now much better in each and every game. He's feeling more comfortable with the language. He's feeling more comfortable with the city. And we talked all night long how impressed we were with the way that he handled the puck and the way that he was shooting the puck and the way that he was moving. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come, and he's a great guy.
He really is. He's got a twinkle in his eye, that kid. He's really fun to be around. Yes, he does. And, you know, now lately he's been playing with some players who maybe bring a little bit more skill to the table. Earlier in the season, he was with some guys who might be looked to be more of a checking role. Now he's getting a chance to do a little bit of dangling, and he sure is.
Well, I tell you what, I've got a good friend down from Edmonton, and he's watched both games in the Edmonton and Calgary, and he said himself, just by watching it up here, he says that Tuomo Ruutu has some just unbelievable moves. You can see how comfortable he is getting in the National Hockey League. And the game against the Edmonton Oilers, where he took 2 vicious hits against Igor Ulanov, and it was Igor Ulanov who went down-winded when Tuomo Ruutu just simply stood him up. He is amazing on his skates. He's got a great shot. He can handle the puck so well. So we just have to keep looking forward to where this guy is going, because there's no downside, or there's no limit to his upside.
Oh, there's no question about it. I don't think we've even seen him.
We haven't even touched it. There's no doubt about it.
Haven't scratched the surface. So it's really fun. You know, we've had to talk to you guys so much about growing pains. Oh, it's fun to have a few smiles around here, boys.
Hey, and Pat, as you are the veteran of the duo, it is your job to get the game puck for Troy on his first victory. So
I might have to fight off 20 guys to get it, but I'll try.
All right, guys. We'll see you on Sunday in Montreal. And Steve, this is also your first win. So later on, after you get home, there you go, buddy. Thanks, Jim. Congratulations. Thank you. But you're going to be a scratch for the Montreal game. So, you know, hey, the giveth and taketh away. Let's take a look at the highlights from this one and how it unfolded tonight for the Blackhawks. You know what? And not only do the Blackhawks get a victory in this one, but the way they win it, I think, has to make them feel especially good about the way things unfolded, because you know what? It looked like the same formula. Get off to an early lead, don't hang on to it, down by 2 in a row. But these guys just kept battling. And we do mean battling. Jonathan Aitken, I'll tell you what, he has to be moving up the list of young contenders, because he lands a couple of bombs against big Christoph Oliva early on, and really kind of sets the tone for the evening when the Hawks were very physical, Steve.
Well, there's, you know, Aitken's job, he knows it. He's a physical player, and you know what? He's gone up against some of the top heavyweights in the league, and he's had some good, he's landed some big punches.
Well, now we get Sean Thornton going at it with Oliva. I'm kind of surprised that Oliva went 2 battles with young guys tonight, being an established pugilist.
Well, I think it's a situation where, you know, that's his role in his own team, and you know, when you get challenged, you know, he answers the challenge, and Sean Thornton's done a tremendous job. I mean, 3 games in a row, he's fought some big men.
Hey, let's point something else out, too. The Blackhawks played short a man tonight because they couldn't get anybody to replace Ryan Vandenbush, so we saw Nickel and Vandenbush listed in at various times. Neither guy played, but they had a full complement of guys. You have to play the game, but this is a great effort by the Blackhawks, just sucking it up. This is Steve Monador against Travis Moan, and this is probably the one that really got things turned around.
Oh, it did. It's one of those things, you know, Travis is actually, I haven't seen him fight in a little bit, and now he's trying to reestablish himself, and you know what, that's what the Hawks need. They got 2 or 3 guys that can handle themselves, and Travis Moan's one of them.
Now, you're not always going to throw an offer on the board in the other team when you're on the penalty kill, but you know what, realistically, if you only give up one goal a game killing penalties, that's not too bad. Now, the Hawks gave up a power play goal early, but after that, they shut the Flames down on the power play.
Well, I think the penalty kill was the key to tonight. You know, they're down 2-1, and they killed 2 penalties. You know, if they happen to give up a goal, it's 3-1. It's a completely different ballgame. You know, they pressured the puck. They forced Calgary to go back in the zone. As you can see, Sully, and you got Korolev coming in here. They did a great job forcing the Calgary Flames to go back and get the puck.
And it's just nice to see, Steve, that these guys, and we talked about it, that the way they've battled, and the way, even though they've been behind a lot during this stretch, you know what? They would almost always get a goal to give themselves a chance late. They weren't able to convert, but tonight, because they were able to keep the puck out of their net and not allow the Flames to get a goal on the power play, they kept themselves in and gave themselves a chance.
Well, I think Brian harps on, you know, and we talk about it, he harps on 5-on-5 hockey, that they're beating teams 5-on-5, but they're struggling on the specialty teams. Well, tonight, Passy makes great saves, they kill penalties, they win a hockey game. When you know what, they're down 3-1, they make a comeback. If they don't kill those penalties, it's a different story.
You know what I think it is? I think Jersey night made the difference. You know, there's just the little things. You know, you do what you can to contribute. When we come back, we'll take a look at the full game highlights, including another look at some of the bouts as the Blackhawks, they get it done tonight. A 5-3 victory over the Flames. Back with more after this.
For more on tonight's game, pick up a copy of tomorrow's Sun-Times. For home delivery, call 1-888-84-TIMES. The Chicago Sun-Times. True Chicago.
Whoa! No score!
leaving in 5 minutes, guys.
Mercedes-Benz 4MATIC all-wheel drive. Disappointing kids all over Chicagoland. Available in every class of sedan and wagon.
Take a bite, Mr. Submarine. I said take a bite, Mr. Submarine. Will satisfy your appetite the best you've ever seen.
For your next party or sporting event, pick up our family and party mix subs. We're open late for your next occasion. Call or visit any Chicagoland Mr. Submarine.
Mr. Submarine.
Regular or quad cab? 1500 or heavy duty? Man. Cummins diesel or Hemi?
I can't decide.
And 0% financing plus a cash allowance.
Plus cash? Give me the red Ram 1500 quad cab with a 5.7-liter Hemi, 28.
Announcing Zero Plus, a groundbreaking offer of 0% financing plus a $2,000 cash allowance on Dodge Ram, plus our 7-year or 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Hurry, Zero Plus just made the best values in America even better.
So the Blackhawks are going to play 3 more, I take that back, they're going to play 2 more games on this road trip, then come home for the All-Star break and then get back in action at the United Center February 11th for a 7:30 start against the Nashville Predators. For your tickets, get them at 312-559-1212. You know what, we're going to have a good time looking at these highlights. And it's been a while since we've been able to talk about a game like this one because you know what? They like to say no passengers, Steve. There were certainly no passengers in this game. Less than a minute into the game, Roman Turek has a little adventure behind the net, ends up coughing it up. It goes down to the stick of Tuomo Ruutu, has an open net to work with, and he does not miss.
Well, quick start. You know, they force the puck. Calder makes a great play knocking it down, throws it in front. Ruutu's got a wide open net.
Later in the first period, off of the turnover in the neutral zone, Craig Conroy feeds Jerome McGinley. And you know what, we're thinking, Steve, we're human beings. We're thinking, okay, here we go again.
Well, I mean, Conroy he slows up at the blue line, makes an unbelievable pass to McGinley, and you know what? You give him an open net, he's not going to miss from there.
Well, and then the Blackhawks, one of the things that they've been doing in recent weeks is not be able to jump back, right back out in front after they see the other team tie after an early goal. And there's a case where they had a good chance. Nathan Dempsey, a shot on goal. Roman Turek swallows it up. And then on the power play late in the first period, Conroy to Tony Lidman, who had pinched down and gone in front of the net, pops it in 2-1 Flames.
Well, you know what? We talked about killed and penalties in the second and third period, but here they go. Conroy gets the puck behind the net. Defense gets caught, slides it up to Lidman, and he puts it behind Steve Passmore.
So we go to the second period with the Flames out in front 2-1, and we talked in the pregame show, and I don't think we'll ever do this again, about how a guy hasn't scored all year against the Hawks. Jerome McGinley fires from just inside the blue line, one that Steve Passmore would certainly like to have back. It's hard to tell if this got deflected or not off the stick of Jason Strudwick.
Well, I think again, McGinley uses Strudwick as a screen. You know, Steve would like to have that one back.
But you know what? From then on, Steve Passmore, some pretty decent hockey. Glove save, and he robs Jordan Leopold, who had gotten in close. 3:30 left in the period. Little offense for you. Al Zhamnov puts it on net. Puck loose in front, and Tuomo Ruutu finds it and throws it in. How many times we talk about it, Steve? Late in the period, you get a goal. So now the Hawks, instead of going into the room down 3-1, getting ready for the third, they have momentum, and they're only down by a goal.
Well, we've talked about it every game because it seems like the Hawks do make that comeback, but tonight was an exception. They get the goal, and they come out hard in the third period.
Here we go. This is the best period of the year for the Blackhawks. On the power play, Brian Berard puts it on net, the rebound right to Tyler Arneson, and the game is tied at 3.
Well, you know what? Get it, shoot it, right on net. Look at the rebound right here, right to Tyler Arneson. He's in the right place at the right time.
Later, with the game still tied, Mark Bell with a good look to Steve Sullivan, and he beats. Look at Brett McLean. Look at the reaction by Brett McLean as the Hawks go up 4-3.
Well, you know what? If you take it back, they won the face-off. Bell takes it off the wall and throws it to Sullivan. He makes a great play and buries it over Turek.
Less than 10 minutes to play. The Hawks in 2-on-1. You know what? Steve Sullivan and Mark Bell together. Whoever has the puck has been putting it right on the tape. This time it's Sullivan to Bell.
Well, you know what? The puck gets turned over. Sully makes a great play and slides it over to Mark Bell, and he makes it 5-3.
Less than 4 minutes to play. Watch Mark Bell pay the price. Gets down the ice to save the icing call. Then it's just a matter of the Blackhawks finishing off the final seconds of the game.
Here's the draw in the Hawk zone. Aitken going to eat it along the boards. Clock winds down. I almost forgot how to say it, but Hawks win! Hawks win! Hawks win!
Brian Sutter's a little bit happy. And what about Steve Passmore? You know what? Steve Passmore gives up 3 goals, but he did not give up the fourth. And that's what goaltenders have to do, is they have to just draw the line, hold the line, give the offense a chance to kick in. What a game for the Hawks tonight.
Great game. You know, the example of Mark Bell there. You know, he gave up his body to make a great play. And you know what? That's what it took tonight. That's what we've talked about for weeks here, is doing that. Whatever it takes to win, and they did it tonight.
Our Blackhawk of the game, Tuomo Ruutu, the #1 draft pick from a couple of years back. His first multi-goal game. He's now closing in on double digits for the season. And just an all-around great night for the Hawks. Tuomo is the Blackhawk of the game, but again, you could go up and down the lineup. You could pick any one of the guys. Certainly no passengers in the game tonight. So, we put the ball on the 5-3 Blackhawk win. Steve and I, Friday night, we're going to take a look at a little college hockey coming up. Stick around.
Hey, taxi! So where's the best place to get a Jack Daniels in this town?
No problem. Here you go, guys.
Nice bar.
Owners are an obsessive bunch.
I wax my truck twice a week.
I have a picture of my truck in my bathroom.
You want a car? Get a car.
Toyota gives you even more to obsess about with the all-new Tundra Double Cab. The biggest truck we've ever built.
I haul band equipment.
And Tundra was named a best overall value.
How could you not want a truck?
Get great savings on select Tundras, like 0% financing for 36 months.
Nice.
Or 1,000 customer cash. Now at your Toyota dealer.
Stop by Circuit City today and check out our huge selection of the latest TVs, from widescreens to plasmas. Right now, get free delivery guaranteed in time for kickoff of Sunday's big game when you buy any TV 30 inches and up by 4 p.m. Saturday. Plus, get $50 to $300 instant savings on all TVs $399 and up. Like this Hitachi 46-inch high-def widescreen TV with built-in DVD player. Now just $1499.99 after $200 instant savings. Circuit City, we're with you.
From our Fox Sports Net studios, we're breaking it down shift by shift. This is the Finlandia Chicago Blackhawks Post.
Now, you may be wondering why I selected this particular jersey for this post-game show. The reason is because Friday night is, from your days at Clarkson, college hockey night. You always play the first end of a series, and it's just a good night to go to the rink and watch a little college hockey because there's no college basketball, so you go watch hockey, right?
Yeah, well, actually, it's funny because you practice on the weekends, during the week, Friday, Saturday games. In the ECAC, where I played at Clarkson, we usually played as a different team. However, in some of the other leagues like Hockey East and some of the ones out west, they play back-to-back games.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at some of the action around the country, get you familiar with some of the players. We're going to start by taking a look at the Terriers of Jack Parker taking on UMass Lowell tonight. Jack Parker in his 31st season. His Terriers would jump out to a 1-0 lead. David Vandergulik gets hit from behind, but he's still able to shoot and score to give the Terriers the lead. Second period, Boston U a chance to add on. Frantisek Skladany, a nice effort to get a breakaway. What a good stop by Johnny Arrows to keep it a 1-0 game. Moments later, the Riverhawks tie it up. Jason Tekma takes the feed, scores in the backhand. It's a nice move, Steve. You got to like that.
Well, actually, never mind the move, but to start the play, pass from inside his blue line to the far blue line, take out the red line.
Third period, UMass Lowell grabs the lead. Nice deflection by Andrew Martin in front of that. No chance for Sean Fields. 2-1 Riverhawks, and that is your final. How about a little Western Collegiate Hockey Association action? A little cold tonight. Up at the Mariucci Center in Minneapolis, Wisconsin against Minnesota. Troy Riddle jumps on the rebound and scores. 2-0 Gophers. Then Renee Bork skates it all alone, beats Kellen Briggs. UW thinking of a comeback, but it wouldn't happen tonight. Keith Ballard, who was a #1 pick in the 2003 NHL entry draft, a blast from the point. Third power play goal in the game for the Gophers. Then Jake Fleming lets go the wrister. It is stopped. But look at this. Talk about a bad break.
Looks like a Hawks game.
Yeah. Badgers kick it into their own net. Badger fans can't watch a 4-2 final score. Now, let's take a look at some of the NHL scores. Sabres beat the Rangers 3-1. Leafs over the Thrashers 4-1. And the Stars at home. Stars are playing well lately, Steve.
Really well. I mean, they beat the Blues last week, back-to-back games, and now they're beating another good team in the West, the Sharks.
Hey, talk about highlights. How about some highlights and a fond look back at Jersey night here on Fox Sports Net? help us evaluate hockey jerseys from a fashion standpoint, we welcome in Yoshi, who comes to us from just upstairs here, where our studios are located, from the Illinois Institute of Art. She teaches fashion design. Yoshi, thanks for coming in and helping us. I almost fell off my chair. I'm so excited about this. But we're going to go over some good jerseys, some bad jerseys. We're going to get your opinion. You're going to tell us why these things work, why they don't work because of the colors. But just tell us a little bit about, you know, the hockey jersey. Fashion design students look down on the hockey jersey from what you told me earlier?
No, they don't look down, but they're fashion-oriented, so they don't really go into the sports.
Let's take a look, first of all, at some of the, what I picked out is some of the better jerseys around the NHL. And Yoshi, first of all, the Montreal Canadiens, I just think it looks cool, but I'm no fashion designer. But tell me from a design standpoint, especially with the colors, what makes the Montreal Canadiens jersey so good?
I think it's really energetic because of the red, and comparison with blue and the white trimmings, it's kind of classy.
Now, we're going to take a look at some of the ones that, at least in our opinion, don't measure up. Ones that they might want to go back to the drawing board on. So let's take a look and get Yoshi's comments. And the Calgary Flames, Yoshi, are wearing this one tonight. You cannot read these numbers on TV. You can't see the logo. I hate it. Your opinion?
It's hard to say.
It's hard to say anything good about that one, isn't it? But the least they could do is they could separate the black out from the red. Wouldn't that make it a little better?
It seems like a little white frames in it, but maybe it's not enough for the balance.
Steve, now when you played for the Hawks was when they first introduced the black jersey. So the Blackhawks, of course, have the three colors, red, white, and black. When you played for the Hawks, which of the three was your favorite to wear?
Well, I have to say the black. It was, you know, it's such a classic jersey, the black socks, the black jersey. You know, it's one of those things that, as a player, I just found growing up, and when you watch the teams, black just makes you look bigger. And you know, the Hawks, when we first brought them, when I first got brought up, we were a bigger team, and it seemed like it just made the team. You always played against like teams like LA when they had their black jerseys. It just, for some reason, it just appeared that they were bigger.
Now I'm going to bust on one of Steve's former teams. You saw the Nashville mustard, dirty yellow 30. You wore that one, Steve. Is it as bad to wear as it is to look at?
Oh, it's horrible. It's actually even worse when it's on. They did some, underneath the yellow, they had like a blue lining on it. And so it made the yellow was like, it was just a weird yellow. Guys hated wearing them. They were heavy. And I actually heard, I think I read an article that they kind of moved on to the next millennium.
And from the fashion design standpoint, Yoshi, that jersey, most hockey jerseys have a V-neck. This one's got a square neck, which you told me causes all sorts of problems in wearing it, right?
It's because of the neckline became a little bit bigger rather than just pointed up, so it may shift it up to the
Is that
back.
what it does, Steve? You wore it.
Actually, and I'll tell you something else about those jerseys. They had a tail on them.
A tail?
The back of the jersey was longer than the front. I mean, whoever designed it, whatever it was, I think the people in Nashville, you know, they liked it at first, but the color was just horrible.
All right, when we come back, we're going to take a look ahead to the next stop of the Blackhawk road trip as they go to Steve's hometown of Montreal.
The barber shop is back. Gotta take baby steps. But when the competition moves in, they'll have to raise their game.
Double my rent. You don't pay no rent. Well, in that case, triple it.
Barber shop back in business. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, February 6th.
I got you something.
Hmm? Oh, you shouldn't have. Oh, this is nice. And here's yours. I know it's not fancy, but it's what's inside that counts. And what's inside is Labatt Blue.
Wow.
Huh?
I love it.
Break out the blue. Labatt Blue.
Awesome gift.
Oh, yeah. I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
Baby, it's cold out there.
This evening has been
Hoping that you
so
drop in.
very nice.
I'll take your hands. They're cold inside.
I ought to say no, 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 sir. At least I'm gonna say that I tried.
What's the sense of hurting my pride?
I really can't stay.
Baby, don't hold
Oh,
out.
but it's cold.
Let's drop the puck. Sullivan powers the Blackhawks. Koivu leads the Canadiens. The battle begins. Hawks, Canadiens, Sunday at 12:30 on Fox Sports Net.
team defense.
Hey, look at this. We have a home game in the next 3 games because the road trip is coming to an end. Montreal on Super Bowl Sunday, and then on Tuesday a stop in Toronto to see Saddledome and the Leafs. And then home, finally, February 11th. That's after the All-Star break against the team that Steve once played. You know, this jersey you got here, let's see this little stick work on this thing. Look at that. Game worn, few black marks. Yeah, that's the proof of it. All right. Blackhawks going into your hometown of Montreal. And the Canadiens, I mean, when I was growing up, I could never imagine a time when the Canadiens would not be one of the top teams in the league. But they've been hurt by some things that have happened with players from the standpoint of not developing the way they thought. And the thing of every Canadian team having to battle, the difference of the Canadian dollar versus the American dollar.
Well, I think one of the keys to what's going on in Montreal is the fact that they had so much success. You know, as I'm growing up, I'm Stanley Cup after Stanley Cup. And then, you know, now the Canadian dollar isn't where it used to be. You know, things have happened, trades. You know, they've had a little bit of turmoil in the organization. Bob Gainey's in there now. I think he's the right guy, solid individual. He was a great player for the Canadiens, and that's what they had to bring back. And I think he's got them well on their way. They released Audette, and I think he's kind of seeing things. He's got the guys that he wants in place now. And they're having, you know, when you look at the record, there's 6 or 7 games over 500.
Right, not bad. But if you look at the dividing line of where it all turned around, it was when Patrick Roy got traded. But the Canadiens now have a guy who has a shot at being a franchise goaltender. Certainly, Jose Theodore has the resume, and he's won some awards, and he's back on it after having a rough year last year.
Well, 2 years ago, wins the MVP of the league, comes back, and, you know, I think he's playing like Jose Theodore of 2 years ago. You know, we talked about Iginla. The same pressure he had on himself last year, didn't have the great year. Theodore got the big contract, and I think now he's finding his own again.
And you talk about guys who have made incredible comebacks. Saku Koivu, just one of the great stories in the NHL. And this guy comes back from a life-threatening medical problem, and he's really back to doing what he always did.
He's a tremendous player. He's a leader on that hockey team. And the fact that he went down, you know, we talk about major turning points in that franchise's history, Patrick Roy. I mean, that's a big one right there. You lose your captain to a major illness.
So the Montreal Canadiens and the Blackhawks, the next game for us right here on Fox Sports Net. We will be here 12:30 on Sunday afternoon. So let us be your pregame show and catch a little bit of Blackhawk hockey. We thank you for joining us tonight. For Steve Dubinsky, I'm Jim Blaney. We're back here again on Sunday. We'll see you then for the Hawks and the Canadiens.
Around Chicago, around the clock. This is CLTV News.
Hello, I'm Monica Schneider. Thanks for being here. In the headlines, with area temperatures running around 0, it can be a quick trip to frostbite unless you're prepared. Warmer temperatures, though, are in store if you can hang in there. Mayor Daley apologizes for the mess in the city's hired trucks program, but says he wasn't informed of the situation. And the long-running debates finally resolved over who should get the money from ticket sales to watch Cubs games from those rooftop seats around Wrigley. The full details are coming up, but first, a quick look at our Chicagoland forecast and CLTV weather on the ones.
Well, tonight we're looking for another bitterly cold night across Chicagoland. Temperatures anywhere from about -4 to perhaps even -14 in the Fox River Valley. So we'll have to bundle up one more time. But take a look as we head into the weekend. Some moderation. 16 degrees for Saturday. Increase in clouds throughout the day. 27 for Sunday, 29 for Monday. But we are looking at the potential for some accumulating snows Sunday into Monday. And those snows could actually even linger into Tuesday. But luckily, temperatures are even a little more moderate into next week.
Take a step outside, and in just a minute, you can be freezing cold, literally. It's weather that forces many to hibernate, while others around Chicagoland don't really have a choice often. For instance, these ComEd workers had to deal with the frigid cold while doing maintenance work in Chicago's West Pullman neighborhood. It wasn't a result of a power outage, just something that apparently needed to be done despite the weather. But then again, some would say the cold snap we're experiencing is simply January in Chicago, and the Cook County Forest Preserve, for one, is offering an opportunity, you're looking at it, to at least try and enjoy it. Thanks to the recent snowfall, the Jensen Slides at Devon and Milwaukee are open again for sledding, with those old-fashioned wood toboggans ready and waiting to be rented. But this frigid weather is certainly nothing to take too terribly lightly, because if you're not dressed properly and outside for too long, frostbite can soon set in. So CLTV's Melanie Kopaz has a look at what signs to look out for.
The mercury dips this low, it can be downright dangerous, literally freezing your skin and possibly causing permanent damage.
Frostbite per se is a cold injury to skin tissues, just like a thermal burn from heat. It's a burn where the tissues get injured because of severe cold.
Dr. Edmund Bolton says initially it won't look like anything, but parts of the body begin getting numb. In more severe stages, there will be discoloration.
When there is a second degree or a deep frostbite, you frequently will, within 8 to 24 hours, develop blebs. And these can be fluid-filled blisters on the skin.
Children and the elderly are at greater risk because they lose heat from their skin more rapidly. As always, layering is the best way to dress. Extremities like ears, toes, and fingers usually are affected first because there's less circulation. Frostbite looks like white, waxy skin that feels numb and hard. Frozen areas should be immersed in warm water or wrapped gently in warm blankets. Do not use direct heat like a fireplace or heating pad, and do not rub frostbitten skin. So, how well are Chicagoans prepared?
I'm not really worried about getting frostbite. I've got about 3 different layers on right now. Got double hood, thin slit gloves, and then of course a bear's jacket.
I don't stay out there that long to get that cold.
Are you worried about getting frostbite?
No, I ain't going to frostbite. Block down, go to the bar, so I should be okay once I get there.
But this severe weather is certainly no laughing matter. If not careful, it could mean the loss of a finger or toe. In the Loop, Melanie Kopaz, CLTV News.
Well, if the persistent cold is making you feel run down, you might take solace in the fact that you're not alone. Even some of the Chicago parking meters are simply giving up. The cold is just too much for them, apparently. The frigid temps are draining the batteries of digital electronic parking meters, leaving them with blank screens. Chicago has 29,000 parking meters, and more than 60% are electronic. A warning has been issued about wrapped candy suckers that are laced with drugs. Chicago police say they're being sold for $10 a piece in the city's Home and Square neighborhood. The suckers have tested positive for THC and PCP, and according to police, make users feel as if they've smoked marijuana, taken ecstasy, or a combination of both. The Citizens Utility Board says People's Energy should refund its area customers millions of dollars for the record-high gas bills they had to pay several years ago. The Consumer Watchdog Group has poured over thousands of documents related to the federal investigation into fallen energy giant Enron and claims to have found internal emails that show People's trying to make extra money by getting involved in secret gas trading deals with Enron. But as a result, when things got really cold in the winter of 2000 to 2001, Cub claims that People's gas supply ran short, and so the utility had to buy natural gas on the open market at high prices, passing the costs on to consumers. However, People's Energy officials say those accusations are unfounded.
Everything that we did was prudent, followed our past practices, the practices that we followed for years and years that again are reviewed every year by the ICC, and we believe in the end, in the 2001 case, that we will not have to refund anything to customers because we don't believe we harmed customers in any way through what we did.
Well, Attorney General Lisa Madigan of Illinois is now investigating as the Illinois Commerce Commission also continues its probe. The scandal involving Chicago's hired trucks program has led Mayor Daley to publicly apologize to Chicago residents for letting them down. Plus, he says he's angry over allegations that some trucking companies did little or no work or got city work because of political clout. Daley has now hired a new person to run the program, which he vows will be run properly. WGN's Julie Unruh has more.
After days of scandal surrounding the mayor's administration, Daley himself goes public. He takes the hit and says he didn't know a thing about any possible improprieties inside Chicago's hired truck